Hello.
Brandon, are you gonna?
Welcome to Cinemania. I'm your host, Matchstick Man.
And I'm Limp Dick Landon.
I'm a Letterboxd Pro member, Adam Cheek.
Hold on. I'm Drumstick, signed by the drummer of the band Lettuce, Sam Goodrich.
And we have a special guest.
Twitter poster, David Hall.
And you're watching Cinemania. Welcome to the show, everybody.
I think that goes down as our worst intro we've had. We've had a lot of bad ones.
Got a lot of bad ones, yeah.
That was a pretty high quality one. If I was a new viewer and I saw that, I'd be like, I'm in. Let's go. I'm along for the ride.
You're like, what is this show about? Matchsticks?
Dude, they're gonna be like, that's known Twitter user at LibDestroyer69, baby.
Yeah, so we've decided to start pandering to the alt-right. So we
Exactly.
David Hall himself.
Yeah.
We're going to be totally debunking anything he says because he's a fucking libtard.
Yeah.
Don't you ever accuse me of being a lib, man. That's the worst thing you can say about anyone.
We're debunking all these cuck leftists. All these cuck leftists. Yeah. They just want to destroy America with their socialism.
Exactly, dude. Don't fucking. I'd rather earn $1 than be given two. You know what I'm saying, fellas?
You know, I think you're on to something.
Dude.
But yeah, this is a show where we talk about movies. You probably know it's about at this point. So we're going to start off with talking about what we watched this week. Does anyone want to go first, talking about what we saw this week?
Adam, I know you're...
Yeah, I'm always eager to talk about what I watched. So I kind of alluded to this last week when we did the show, but I wanted to wait until this week when I'd finished The King of Staten Island. So I watched...
Stop clicking on your goddamn keyboard.
Down.
All right. So I watched the two major Pete Davidson movies that came out this year on back-to-back days. Last week I watched Big Time Adolescence and The King of Staten Island. Big Time Adolescence is pretty good. It's pretty short, but it packs a lot in. It doesn't exactly have actually, no, I'm not going to spoil it. But
spoil it, dude. I don't give a
it doesn't. All right, I'll just say it doesn't exactly have like a happy ending. What?
God forbid you spoil Big Time Adolescence.
It doesn't exactly have the happiest ending, but it's still pretty good.
Do they become small-time adults?
What?
Do they become small-time adults?
This is a big twist.
Okay.
Does Pete Davidson die?
No.
Yes.
No.
That's the only way you're gonna get me to watch that.
No,
movie.
not his character in the movie doesn't die. Pete Davidson himself dies.
His career dies.
Yeah.
Well, and then the next day, I was in the middle of it when we had the other show, The King of Staten Island, which I actually thought was really, really good. Okay, so
I watched, by the way, Adam. I did.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I get the criticism for Pete Davidson, and I will say he essentially plays himself in both movies, like some version of himself, but he's not bad, like, at all. And I think my Wi-Fi just disconnected. Okay. I thought The King of Staten Island, okay, so I've seen a couple of things from Judd Apatow here and there. I've seen The 40-Year-Old Virgin, Knocked Up, and 30 for 30 he did on Doc Gooden and Daryl Strawberry. Weirdly, that's it. But this felt a lot different than his other movies, and I really enjoyed how they just it has its funny moments, but I would throw it under more of a drama classification. It lingers on conversations longer. Like there's a lot of heart to it, which I really enjoyed. Bill Burr's pretty good in it. Marissa Tomei's pretty good in it. Everyone's really good in it.
Ooh. So what I'm hearing is that King of Staten Island and what's his name? What's the director again?
Pete Davidson?
The director?
Oh,
Yeah,
the
no,
director.
He directed it. He
You
wrote it.
broke up. You broke up there. Yeah, Judd Apatow.
So Judd Apatow is no Paul Feig, is what he's.
Judd Apatow
Judd
is no
Apatow's never
Paul
made
Feig, that's-
Ghostbusters.
But so the next day I watched a couple of things. I watched Born to Play, which I found out like 20 minutes before it came on ESPN. It's a short little documentary about the Boston Renegades women's football team. It resonated a lot, if nothing else, because those football teams, obviously, as opposed to like college football or NFL or whatever, has the same vibe that like I had at like, I don't know if any of you guys remember the Richmond Rough Riders when they were here a couple of years ago. Those arena football games, like this little atmosphere of fans and everything. It kind of goes along with the team when during the year they finally win a championship, and it felt a lot like the time that I went to, I think 5 or 6 games the year the Rough Riders won their championship. So that was pretty cool. And then that same night I watched Dave Chappelle's 846, which I don't know if we talked about on here or not. Not a ton to say about it other than that it's pretty powerful, and it's 30 minutes and it's really good. I wasn't the biggest fan of his Netflix special last year, but this was pretty hard hitting. Like I thought he transitioned well from like he would go from telling a story. I don't know how many of you guys have seen it.
I've seen it.
I've kind of stopped caring about Dave Chappelle recently because like his latest material has very much been like, oh, fuck social justice warriors.
Yeah, I know. It's as soon as I hear a comedian be like, "Oh, well, this next special is gonna trigger you. Don't let the SJW see this." I'm like, "Oh, goddamn, it's gonna suck."
Well, I will say he did transition well from like he would tell a story and then relate it back to everything that's going on right now.
Did he say sorry for shitting on trans people and people in the LGBT community?
No, he didn't, unfortunately.
Well, I don't think I'm gonna watch it then.
The next day, I was bored and just didn't really feel like getting into a movie, so I watched a couple of Netflix specials. I watched Ken Jeong's stand-up special from last year, which was fine. He relies too much on kind of the, haha, I'm rich, LOL, I can do that because I'm rich joke. And then on a much better note, I watched Donald Glover's Weirdo, which is like 8 years old at this point, and it took me that long to get around to it, which is pretty great. And then
how do those stand-up specials compare to Chris D'Elia's one that you watched last week?
Oh, I watched that. I wasn't aware that I watched that. So
Chris
pretty sure you
D'Elia.
put those words in my mouth.
This is the Chris D'Elia Stan podcast. Unfortunately, we have some unfortunate news.
I'm honestly surprised they haven't taken it off Netflix yet.
Last episode.
Do you think there are like Chris D'Elia stands? Because he
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
he was always like what was like genuinely like unfunny comedians to me.
The only funny video I've ever seen from Chris D'Elia, and it's not even that funny, it's the one where he's making fun of Eminem.
Oh yeah.
I think that's the only one that I've like giggled at.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy. Adam, you should stop when
Perfect. Yeah.
My internet disconnected right when you were in the middle of
support.
talking, Landon. I didn't hear
Oh, he
everything you said.
disconnected. Sure.
Oh,
it
sorry.
did.
Disconnected. Just like he disconnects from the news when they start talking about Chris D'Elia.
I'm honestly surprised they haven't taken his. I just looked. It's 3 specials. I'm surprised they haven't taken them off Netflix yet.
Have you watched all 3 of them?
No, I haven't watched any of
I
them.
watched all 3 last week.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot. That was last week.
And then on Friday, the last thing I watched before we did our watch party on Saturday was Eurovision Song Contest, The Story of Fire Saga, which was fine. It's pretty well produced. Will Ferrell and Rachel McAdams are pretty good. It's Pierce Brosnan and Dan Stevens are in it, and they're fun. Dan Stevens plays like a Russian singer, and I've only seen him in Legion and one other thing. So that was Apostle. That's what I've seen him in. So that was weird to see him in a completely different role from those. But it was fine. The songs aren't as catchy as everyone I think says they are, but
It's no La La Land.
no, it's not. It's fine. I gave it 3 stars and immediately forgot about everything that happened in the movie. So
Adam, does Pierce Brosnan sing in this?
unfortunately, no.
No, it's very fortunate that he doesn't sing, Adam. You don't understand.
Oh,
Adam, I need you to watch Mamma Mia and then tell me you would like to see that in this movie. The first
Okay.
one. In the second one, they fixed their mistake because he has a song that he sings quietly, and then he sings in big groups so you can't hear him.
So is that all you watched, Adam?
yep. That's all I watched. Kind of a slow week, and I haven't watched anything since Saturday.
When are we gonna get another PowerPoint presentation? It's the best thing you've ever done, Adam.
You set the bar too high, you know?
Yeah,
Can you pull that back up for us?
No,
He's pulling
I'm
a
good.
Kendrick. He's
My
pulling a
Windows
Kendrick,
slideshow
right?
presentation is that was its last hurrah. Its first and last hurrah.
Why?
Because now I can do backgrounds and I don't have to do that anymore.
You know, okay. Adam is saying that now. Give it like a few months, and he's like, you know, we're bringing it back for the fans.
Our 6 viewers that we get weekly.
They demanded a PowerPoint presentation.
Well, you have me on here, dude. The show's about to fucking explode.
Oh, so we'll get at least 20 this week.
Yeah.
For Live Destroyer 69 is the 20. We get
You guys forgot one of my tweets one time got 500 likes.
Damn, dude. I got
But yeah,
retweeted by Bo Burnham, so suck my dick.
Yeah, but you didn't get 500 likes.
I got 10,000 likes.
I got 500 likes completely organically though on my own. I didn't have to get a handout from Bo Burnham. You know, you would like that, you liberal.
fucking communist. Fuck.
I had to earn every single like.
but yeah, that was
$1 then get $2. I forgot, David.
Yeah.
yeah, that was all I watched this
I'd
week.
rather earn 1 than get handed 2, baby.
That was all I watched this week. Outside of the movie we watched, Donald Glover's special was the best thing I saw. The S'more story is perfect. So is the Home Depot story, and that's all I'll say.
Oh,
I'll just go next because I only watched like 2 things. I actually watched 3 things, but so I watched King of Staten Island, which was, you know, I was hyped. This is my movie, okay? It had everything I wanted in it, and it had Judd Apatow, Pete Davidson, Bill Burr, all things that appeal to my demographic.
Black Panther.
This is my Black Panther. King of Staten Island is my Black Panther, a black man's Black Panther.
I haven't seen King of Staten Island, but it did result in like one of my favorite tweets of the year. Twitter user Nick Usen tweeted, "No offense to Pete Davidson, but the real King of Staten Island is the QAnon guy who killed the boss of the Gambino crime family last year." That's a real thing. And it's one of the best episodes of Chapo Trap House is about it. So,
yeah. The only, I guess that's kind of the thing of it. The only good thing that came out of King of Staten Island were the tweets about it, and like the King of Staten Island, like the King of Staten Island was the bagel guy.
bagel.
This is the real.
You know my father, oh my boss. Oh my God.
It's the Holy Trinity. Oh my God, you know, my father, oh my boss. Oh my boss.
Oh my boss.
We also got the cake boss from Staten
All
Island.
these women on dating sites. You should be dead. That's okay.
Didn't the cake boss come from Staten Island?
Probably.
No, he's from Hoboken.
Oh,
Okay.
Isn't it the same thing?
Where is Staten Island located? Is it located below New Zealand or above Australia?
It's in between.
Yeah, it's in between that.
It's really weird that it's part of New York.
Is it above Antarctica or under Iceland? Where is Staten Island? Like we need to know. That's
I
the
don't
point
think
concept of Cinemania. Where is Staten Island? Comment down below. Where's Staten Island?
I don't think Pete Davidson is that funny, but the way he describes Staten Island is very funny to me.
It's very true too.
Yeah. So now it sucks shit.
It's so fucking awful. Like it was. For a long time he was the best thing in SNL, and now he's just like another part.
The worst thing.
Of a
He's
shithole.
on it only half the time now. Yeah.
Yeah.
The worst thing on SNL is they have the two least funny people, like least funny cast members on that show, in like every skit. Like Mikey Day and Alex Moffat are like the least funny people on the planet, and they have them in like literally every sketch. It's insanity.
Hey, David,
I will. I can kind of see where you're coming from, but I will say they kill it as Don Jr. and Eric.
Not really.
Not really.
Kinda do.
No.
David, I was about to say that you need to like stop like talking bad about SNL because Adam's gonna climb through his goddamn monitor.
I still enjoy it.
I like Beck Bennett and Kyle Mooney.
Yeah. But just watch Brigsby Bear and like every Saturday night just watch Brigsby Bear and like
Every Saturday night you watch Brigsby Bear.
yeah.
You just logged this movie 47 times.
But yeah, the way Pete Davidson describes Staten Island, it said he's like it's just full of racist cops and racist firefighters, and it's a little trash island in the middle of the sea. And like, I mean, he's not wrong. But yeah, King of Staten Island, it's fine. It's good. It's fine. It's not like my favorite Judd Apatow is probably I don't know. I'd probably say it's 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Yeah.
But yeah, this didn't see it, but yeah, King of Staten Island. Okay. We've also been watching Harry Potter again, but then the J.K. Rowling tweet, like all the stuff with J.K. Rowling happened the more stuff with her happened this week, and I was just like had a bad taste in my mouth. I didn't want to watch it anymore.
You know what? Maybe not.
You're
like, you know what? Maybe not.
Yeah, maybe in like a few weeks. I don't know, because like I've already bought the movies, so like I can't. It's not really like putting any more
Why'd
money.
you buy them? Oh, you've already owned them. You've owned them.
I own the Harry Potter movies.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I haven't watched a Harry Potter movie in probably like 7 years since the last one.
It's a really big part of my childhood, but like I just feel like now I can't really reconcile. Like,
Damn, I left my jewel in my room.
huh?
He left his jewel in his room.
Only the essentials for Cinemania. But yeah, I don't know. She's just such a fucking shitty person. She's such a she's like kind of the exemplary like case of turfism, and I just feel like I can't really watch it now without separating her from like films. Even though
she keeps digging herself a bigger hole too.
Because the one thing I watched Lindsay Ellis's video, and like the one point I feel like that was pretty good in it is that like she feels she's not somebody who's like directly kind of like saying, oh, I hate. She's not doing it just for the sake of like, oh, I hate these people. I want them to have like shitty lives. She thinks she's like the good guy in the scenario, which is why she'll like never change.
Yep.
So, and I agree with that like viewpoint on it, and I just feel like because of that, I can't really like do it guilt free. Even though like I'll probably finish the Harry Potter movie just one last time, but like I don't know.
I think that's it.
Yeah, that might be
For a
it.
while at least.
You know.
But
But
the
yeah.
Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them movies?
You mean the
Best
five
movies
movie,
ever,
the
baby.
5-part, the 5-part cinematic universe of Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them?
Artemis Fowl is my new Harry Potter.
Unproblematic. An unproblematic version of Harry Potter. Honestly.
Beautiful Creatures is my new Harry Potter.
The Spider
My new Harry Potter.
is my new Harry Potter.
Arthur and the Invisible is my new Harry
new
Potter.
Entourage is my new Harry Potter.
Dracula Untold is my new Harry Potter.
I want to watch Entourage because
No, you don't.
no, I do because the last episode of Chapo, they had Adam Friedland on, and they spent like 30 minutes talking about how watching Entourage is like very comforting because there's like no stakes in the show.
But it's filled with like sexism and like racism and just.
Hey, dude, Vinny Chase, you kidding me? Legend.
That's my
But
option.
they were like pitching like an Entourage like Netflix revival produced by Obama. But they made this really funny joke that like Turtle and E were gonna have like a dispute over an e-cigarette, like a long-running dispute about it.
Jesus Christ. Oh, Lord.
Remember the episode of Entourage where it's just Kevin Dillon's character? He does like shrooms in like the desert, and it's just like him. Does anyone else ever watch Entourage?
I
watched
watched like the first 2 seasons, and I've seen the movie.
Okay. Okay. What'd you say, Lan? How much have you watched of it?
I've watched episodes. Like I haven't like sat down and been like, I'm gonna watch Entourage today.
Okay.
I've done that, but back when I was like 15, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna fucking watch Entourage.
This is my fucking life. This is what I want to do.
I think I was watching Ballers at the same time too.
Entourage is my Black Panther. For meth addicted, racist assholes in Hollywood, that's my T'Challa. But yeah, what was I talking about? Yeah, I was talking about Harry Potter and how. Yeah.
So yeah, Harry Potter.
Yeah, and on a more less fun and serious note, I've been watching I May Destroy You.
Oh shit! Is that from the girl who did Chewing Gum?
Yeah, Michaela Cole.
Chewing Gum slaps. I haven't watched.
What is chewing gum?
Who,
It's huh?
No, I was gonna say it's about this girl in London, and it's like basically the tales of her trying to like lose her virginity, and it's kind of like coined the Fleabag style of like it's very Fleabag-esque, but I kind of hate when people say it because it's like conflating two styles of comedy where it's like someone talking to camera or someone being really really like it's and also like all kind of British comedy has to be the same.
Yeah, if you think about it, this is very Fleabag-esque. You know, we're talking to a camera.
Is life just Fleabag?
I did just get fucked in the arse.
Ours, I got some ours. But yeah, I watched the first like 4 episodes of I May Destroy You, and it's fucking really good. It's really, 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 really good.
Is it more dramatic
Yes.
than Chewing Gum?
Yeah, yeah, and it's
Okay.
it's really, really uncomfortable too because I'm not gonna spoil it or anything. It's just like it's about so Michaela Cole plays this author who gets spiked and is sexually assaulted. During the first episode, that's what happens, and the rest of the series, like it's not over yet, but the rest of the series is her kind of piece together what happened the night where her drink got spiked, got sexually assaulted, and it explores the dynamics of like sexual assault and how like it's treated within like law enforcement and like police departments, and how for like men and women it's like a different subject, and how like friendship can kind of help you rebuild your life, help you kind of like rebuild your conscious and like psyche after like something like sexual assault happened to you. And I think that like it's definitely a lot like more serious and dramatic than Chewing Gum. But I feel like it has the same kind of comedy, and like there's a lot, and it's not like a full-on drama or anything. There's a lot of levity to it, but yeah, I think it's like it fucking slaps. It's really, 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 really good.
Should I watch Chewing Gum before I watch this show?
You don't have to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just because I'm sold. Like, I'm really sold on this premise now.
Yes. Yeah, it's so good. Yeah, it's
Chewing Gum is great. You should watch Chewing Gum.
You chewing gum now.
Shut
I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Watching chewing gum, you fucking kidding me with this shit.
I used to watch Chewing Gum. Like it just doesn't do anything. It just sits there.
Yeah, dude, come on.
But yeah,
Cinemania, peak comedy.
Yeah. Kylie Fleabag?
but yeah, that's all I watched this week. Who wants to go next?
I'll go.
Oh, shit.
I have not watched the movie this week. I've been watching It's Always Sunny though. and I watched the newest
Love to see it.
season. But I watched the newest season. I think my favorite episode is either the janitor always knocks twice, or
Yes.
the gang texts is very funny too.
Is the new season on Netflix yet?
It's on Hulu.
It's on Hulu?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I need to catch up. I haven't watched the last like 3 seasons. I think the last season I watched was the one where they were in the suburbs, or like that one episode where they were in the
Oh
suburbs.
god, dude, that episode's so fucking funny.
That might be one of the best episodes of Always Sunny.
Have you ever been in a storm, Wally? A storm of fists.
God, I love Always Sunny.
Yeah.
I think you introduced me to Always Sunny like in 5th grade, David. No, it was in 7th. It was in 7th grade you introduced me to Always Sunny.
Yeah, dude. I was on that shit for a while. My brothers introduced that shit to me in like 3rd grade.
You were like, yeah, dude, this is great.
Yeah, basically.
It's the only. I think it's the only show that's gone this long where it doesn't have like a bad season.
The only season that's really not that good is the first one.
Yeah,
Like
it's not even that bad.
Yeah.
Seasons like 3 through 7 were like the peak, right?
They haven't even begun to peak.
That's fair. We're gonna be at 30
No,
seasons,
there isn't really a
60.
peak to that show. It's like all good. Like
Yeah.
The first episode they talk about like what isn't it the racism episode?
yeah, it's the
Yes,
racist
yes.
episode.
Yeah.
Oh my god. That show is something else. Still hasn't won an Emmy. One day.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
We'll make it one day. Is that all you watch, David? Top lighting matches, Brandon.
No.
You watched Dog Day Afternoon.
It's thematic. Okay?
Yeah, I watched Dog Day Afternoon but in my brain when It's Always Sunny referenced it.
These all came flooding back. You were like, wait.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm watching
No, David.
you know, they rope you into it, man. Because
Whoa!
I was looking up I looked up like one
Oh, sorry, David's mic cut out. What happened?
I watched like one clip on YouTube, and then like all my recommendations for like the next month were Family Guy videos.
I looked up the compilation of the best Peter and chicken guy fights. Chicken fights. And now they just recommend me.
My fight is the one where they fight Donald. That's my
I like
favorite.
the clip where Stewie asked for his money. The 10 hours.
Oh yeah, dude, that's gonna be my new profile pic. Is
Yeah,
Stewie Griffin.
I searched Sexy Meg on YouTube, and all I got was just like Family Guy after that.
I texted the number, and now my ringtone is Quagmire saying giggity.
Peter Griffin, you get down here. I know exactly the clip I looked up. Actually, the clip I looked up is when Peter beats up a kid. Because that is actually funny, and I like thought of that for some reason. I was like, "Damn, that was really funny." When he just beat up a little kid.
It's like the only good scene in Under the Silver Lake.
I knew you'd fucking bring it up.
God damn. Oh.
Okay, do you want to know something really weird related to Family Guy? Okay, do you guys know the game Jet Set Radio?
I'm aware of its existence. I've never.
So the dude that composed the score for that game, he has a Twitter account. It's really fun to follow.
Oh, yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. And he has
the Japanese guy that's like learning English and just like posts like, "My name is Cleveland Brown." He posted something really fucking funny the other day. He said, he tweeted, "I'm not horny," and then like a couple minutes later, he quote tweeted at me saying, "Yeah."
His Twitter is like actually really good because it's either reposting like people that really like his music, or it's like random memes. And for a while, there was like a random meme about him liking Family Guy, and he kept posting the phrase that was like funny Family Guy memes.
yeah, Family Guy funny moments.
And he's like, I don't know. Sometimes I'm just feeling like funny Family Guy memes. I don't know what you mean. Like, what's the big deal? He would never post the actual Family Guy memes. It would just be the phrase.
If I play some Family Guy on here, will we get copyright strike?
Yes, don't do that.
No, you won't get copyright stricken for Family Guy.
I don't want to watch Family Guy.
That whole show is on YouTube, dude. The entire thing, and that's the way you're meant to watch it. You're not meant to watch it on Hulu where you gotta like watch it sequentially. The ideal Family Guy watching experience is just getting recommended on YouTube.
This is the director's cut of Last of Us Part 2, everybody.
Yeah, Brendan, you got the exact clip I wanted.
Wait, are these the leaks? Is this the Last of Us 2 leaks they were talking about?
Yeah.
Now I get why everybody hates it.
We got bamboozled. You'll play as Abby or the giraffe. You play as Peter Griffin.
There's some guy who starts the Last of Us Part 2. He's like, "Where's Peter? Who the fuck is Peter?"
Hey, Peter.
My name is Cleveland.
Shut up. Okay. All right, all right. What did you watch, Sam?
Oh my god! All right,
I gotta take a Duke real quick.
go for it. So I'll get two out of the way that I've already seen. On Sunday, actually, my roommates moved out. My really terrible roommates, so they're not here anymore. Yay!
Spill the tea.
I mean, I'm not gonna go full on. Just they're bad people, and I don't like them, and I hope to never see them again. So Sunday, I was like, I don't want to be here while they move. So I went over to my friend's house and we invited another friend. We were like, let's watch some movies, and they were like, hey, let's watch Hobbs and Shaw.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was like, I guess. So we watched Hobbs and Shaw. It's still a really bad movie. Who would have thought? And well, it's funny because even they didn't like it, which I was not expecting. I thought they were going to think it was really fun. They were like, yeah, it was really bad. I was like, wow, I was not expecting that. Okay.
I don't get how they made that movie so boring.
So I think I've pinpointed it, right? I think I've got the chart, I've been analyzing and studying the film. And I think what it is like, one, they never say family, right?
Mm-hmm.
They never once say the word family. The Rock's family is in it. They have the Samoan family. They never say family, right? Big component missing already. Second part is that's not genuine, right? I feel like when making it, what they gathered from the Fast and Furious movies was, oh, they're big and dumb and ridiculous. But they forgot to include the sincerity, right? They forgot to include the feeling that, like, they kind of trust and respect the audience, and they spend too much time trying to be, like, snarky and self-aware and, like, kind of poking at the audience, like, hey, this is stupid, right? We're like, Fast and Furious is Vin Diesel with a straight face doing the dumbest shit in the world and fully believing that he's making high art, That's what sells those movies. And Hobbs and Shaw is just 2 hours of a dick measuring contest that is literally the same 5 jokes over and over again until Kevin Hart comes in to ruin the worst scene in the movie and make it even worse. I don't know, man. It's just a bad movie. It's poorly made.
Isn't Ryan Reynolds in it too?
Sorry?
Isn't Ryan Reynolds in the post-credits?
Ryan Reynolds is literally in the movie. He's in it for 2 reasons. Because the guy that made this made the Deadpool movies, or made Deadpool 2 at least. And then so he can make Game of Thrones references that were relevant in the summer of 2019 because season 8 ended. That's literally the reason he's in the movie.
Does Aviation Gin show up?
They do not. As far as
I don't want to watch it.
Isn't it A Simple Favor too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the joke.
It's in like a lot of
It's a bad movie. Good movie that we watched right afterwards because no one had seen it, which I was really shocked. We watched the first Back to the Future, which I haven't seen in 10 years probably. I don't think I've watched the movie all the way through since I was like in middle school or in elementary school. Holds up. Still kind of an amazing movie. Really, really great writing and like pacing and like callbacks. I forgot how goofy it is. I never realized how like goofy and like kind of over the top and zany it is.
Remember when he almost has sex with his mom?
Which is very funny and not weird at all. And not
That's my
like,
favorite part.
But it's like,
That wasn't me saying that. That was Sigmund Freud. Sorry.
oh, that's fair. No, that's fair. I get that. I understand that. No, but it's just like a really fun, like well-made, like blockbuster summer movie. You know, like it's just super good, and like it just reminds me of like when Robert Zemeckis like knew how to make a movie, or at least knew how to make a movie that was like tight, no fluff. Like it's a 2-hour movie, and it feels like an hour and a half. Like it flies by.
You're forgetting about The Women of Marwen, or Welcome to Marwen.
Okay. I never saw the movie. I'm still upset about it. I love the documentary that they based the movie off of.
That movie's not good.
Lauren Call? The documentary?
No, I'm talking about the movie, Welcome to Marwen. I saw it with my.
Right. So that's why I didn't see it. I heard it was bad, but the documentary based on the guy's real life is fascinating and is so interesting. And well, okay, tell me, in the movie, do they cut out the part that he's a cross-dresser? I don't know if he's necessarily trans.
Okay, so in the movie, they like try to rationalize. It's so fucking dumb.
Oh no.
To rationalize that the reason he wears high heels is just because I think it's like some messed up thing that happened with his mom or something. They like skirt around the issue. It's just
I think that is. I think that's in the documentary as well. I think that like childhood trauma is like a part of his story.
Yeah, it's part
admittedly,
of
I haven't seen the documentary in a long time, but
they don't really like. It's more of like, oh, look at him in heels, ha ha ha, funny. Like it's never anything like substantial like in the documentary where like, it's very much just kind of bad.
yeah, it's just, I just want Robert Zemeckis to like make a movie again. I don't want him to like play with his fucking toys for 2 hours. I just want a movie. I don't know, man. Sue me. I don't know.
Sue me.
Sue me. But Back to the Future, classic, great, holds up really well. I was afraid a lot of it would be like pretty dated and like not good, but it's not. It holds up. It's very, very good. It's very well made.
Fun fact: I have never watched Back to the Future.
No, it's fine. You can watch them. Like they're good. They're pretty good.
Sam, what's the best Robert Zemeckis? Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry?
No, I was just gonna ask, what's the best Robert Zemeckis movie?
Either Who Framed Roger Rabbit
or Welcome to Marwen.
I don't know if it's his best. By the way.
We were just talking about that.
Welcome to Marwen is a known classic. Already in the Criterion Collection, baby.
Bro, I love Mars Needs Moms. Love that film.
Did he make Mars Needs Moms?
Yeah, dude, that's a Robert Zemeckis joint right there.
Are you kidding me?
That's Robert Zemeckis.
Isn't that movie like one of the biggest like flops of all time?
Yeah. And Seth
bad
Green
movie,
plays
though?
the kid in the mocap thing. And then because his voice sounded too much like an adult trying to be a kid, they replaced his voice in the last minute. And he went to the premiere not knowing that happened.
Oh my
He showed up to the fucking movie that he started, and they play it, and there's some random kid playing his character. It's like, what? It's yeah.
Flight's pretty good.
Sorry?
Flight?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Is like I don't know if it's necessarily a great movie, but it is a favorite of mine. Like I mean, it has one of my favorite sequences in a movie, which is near the end, and he like it's like right near the end where he's like in the hotel the night before the hearing, and they're like, hey, there's no alcohol, you're gonna be fine. And he happens to open the fridge, there's like the airplane bottles, and he puts it on the table, and then they hold on the shot of the bottle and like are slowly zooming in. And then out of nowhere, his hand like comes into the frame to grab the bottle. Instant cut to the next morning, like John Goodman's banging on his door. He's like, and like his room's like destroyed. His room is like messed up. It's like, I don't know how that happens from like 10 airplane bottles, but I feel the emotion. I believe it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Sam, you ever seen
Forrest Gump's
Contact?
also a masterpiece. Remember when Jenny
Life's like a box of
Forrest
chocolates.
Gump and everybody was like, "Oh, that's fine." Isn't this one of the greatest love stories of all time? Forrest Gump. I hate that movie.
Bad.
Forrest Gump is a cuck bitch, if you ask me.
Brandon, did you have a question? Did you?
No, I said, have you seen Contact?
I haven't.
Wow.
I haven't seen Contact,
Wait,
but I've seen the Family Guy episode where they make a joke about it.
Contact.
okay, isn't Contact the movie that has the shot where it's like the long take and then it ends with her running into the mirror? That's Contact, right?
I don't think so.
Okay, there's some like sci-fi movie from the 80s where it's like a long take of a character like looking through a house and like goes up the steps and she's like running towards the camera in like slow motion, and then eventually the camera like zooms out as if it's been looking through a mirror this whole time as she like runs to open the door that the mirror is attached to. It's insane. Like, I don't know how the fuck they did this in the 80s.
I don't think that's Contact, but that sounds incredible.
There's some movie where that happened, and I feel like it's Contact or Robert Zemeckis movie. I have to figure it out.
Well, is it Beowulf?
It's probably Beowulf. It's probably Beowulf.
Yeah.
So, moving past Robert Zemeckis, as interesting as he is, now we're getting to the interesting movies. First of all, I watched my first Bollywood movie. Where I have a friend of mine named Mitt, who is Indian, and he grew up in America mostly, but still has ties to India, and specifically to Bollywood films. And he's been trying to get me to watch a Bollywood movie for a long time, and it just never happened until this past week. He was like, "All right, guys, we're gonna watch this movie. It's called Dostana. I'm probably saying it wrong, but it translates to English as friendship." And he was like, "Yeah, man, we're going to watch this movie. It's really fun. It's really light. Should be a good introduction to Bollywood." And I was like, "All right, sweet." Turns out it was made in 2007, and it's really homophobic and kind of bad. Where the plot of the film is you have these two. So first of all, it takes place in Miami, right? But it's in Miami where
Bollywood's headquarters.
Sorry?
Bollywood's headquarters.
Miami is the Hollywood of Bollywood.
but so it takes place in Miami, and it's about these two guys who are really buff, hot dudes that are both getting kicked out of their apartment, and they like bond over the fact that they both were in the same apartment where they slept with two different girls and they could hear each other having sex. And so then they randomly get into a taxi with each other. They're like, "Oh, we're gonna go to the same apartment to look at it and like see if we can rent it." Cool. So they get there, and the woman that owns it is like, "Oh, I don't want any guys living here. I want just girls because my niece is gonna live here." And so then they decide, let's pretend to be gay so we can live here, because the niece is probably ugly because the woman that owns it is ugly. Turns out she's hot. Oh no! And from there, the movie is like, it's like 3 different rom-coms smushed into one. First of all, the movie's 2 hours and a half. Because as my friend Mitt explained it, Bollywood movies are 2 hours to 3 hours long because it's seen as more valuable if your movie's longer. Like, why would you spend your money on an hour and a half movie when you could spend it on a 3-hour movie? It's kind of like how people decide how to buy video games. You know, like It's crazy. And so there's 3 different plots basically. That the first section of the film is all leading up to a dinner between between the girl's gay boss and then the gay immigration officer that has to make sure that the two guys are gay so they can begin their immigration application. Yeah. And and also one of the guys' mom shows up because she gets the papers saying that he's gay, and she's really upset that he's gay and is like really shocked and scared.
Sam, is everybody gay in this movie? What is this, Last of Us 2?
Basically.
AirPod.
But then like the problem is that every gay character in the movie is really horny and really flamboyant, right? There's no like character that's just like a person and is also gay. Like if you're gay in this movie, you gotta be like sexually aggressive. Like you gotta be hitting on everything that walks and has a penis.
Jesus.
And you have to be very flamboyant and very feminine at all times. And it's like not funny. It doesn't work. It's super weird. You're like, I don't like this part of the movie at all. Cut to the second part of the movie where the two guys decide they're both in love with the girl. And so they're both trying to hit on her and like both have these crazy like these like elaborate like dates with her that are very romantic. They're very extravagant. They're very out there. Turns out she thinks they're gay because they told her because they told her that they were gay. And so she's like, well, I don't want to date you guys. You're gay, because that's not how that works. So then she decides to date her new boss because the gay boss left. There's a new boss. She decides to date him. So the two main characters are like, all right, we got to team up so that they don't get married because we don't like him, even though he's a decent guy. And one thing I'll say, I don't care if you guys, I mean, I assume you guys don't care if I spoil it.
No, dude, don't you dare.
This before you spoil it for us. This sounds like a mix between Jim and Jules and The Graduate, and I don't know why you're shitting on it right now.
Well, okay. So one thing I'll say is like anything involving the main plot or gay people is really bad and offensive and boring, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what's really good about it is the friendship that develops between the two guys and the girl. Like, because the movie is 2.5 hours, they can actually develop their friendship. So you feel this camaraderie and this bond between the three of them. Like, it feels genuine and real. And you're like, oh, I wasn't expecting that. So then when the movie ends with the two guys deciding that she should be with the new boss, like, it feels real. You're like, oh, that's nice. And the movie ends with them being friends. Like, they don't get with each other. They're just friends. I'm like, oh, that's super cool. But also because it's a Bollywood movie, it has a lot of dance numbers, a lot of catchy pop songs, a lot of choreography and dancing scenes that sort of serve as like act breaks almost, like the beginning and the end of each act. And they're all like pretty good. Like, they're really entertaining, really well made. I mean, there comes a point where it's almost like a music video being interrupted by a movie. But I don't know. I don't think it's a good movie. I think it doesn't hold up. And even like halfway through, my friend was like, "This was not a good choice to introduce you to Bollywood." Bad idea. But I think it gave me a good idea of like the Bollywood style, which is very dramatic, very over the top, but still entertaining at points, and like does have a unique perspective being made by Indian people who are not widely represented in popular culture or in Hollywood culture. So, interesting experience. Not a good movie, but
are you gonna watch any more Bollywood movies? Does he have more like lined up for you to like?
He does, because Netflix has a ton of Bollywood movies. Like a lot of the classics that he's mentioned are on Netflix. It's really weird. Not weird, but just like it's interesting.
You know what you should watch next? It's the Bollywood remake of Mrs. Doubtfire called Hachi 420.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Apparently, there's a Bollywood version of Cats that was made 10 years ago.
Wait, what? Seriously?
That's what Mitt was telling us. Mitt was saying that there's a Bollywood version of Cats that was made like 10 years ago.
I gotta find this. Hold on.
Does it use digital for technology?
I don't think so.
Does it have Taylor Swift as a sexy cat?
Unfortunately, no.
I'm a sexy
Then I don't
cat.
want to watch it.
No point. Oh my god.
If I don't get horny watching the cats, it's not cats.
Oh yeah, it's more
Oh,
like
also, okay, one thing. Another thing I'll mention about Dostana is that there is a lot of sexualizing men in that movie, which I wasn't expecting. I feel like a lot in Hollywood movies, it's like women are overly sexualized. But literally the opening scene of the movie is like a music video that's just an excuse to have the guy shirtless and like almost taking off their pants. Like it's crazy. It's just an excuse to watch hot guys be hot. And I was like, all right, I appreciate that. Okay. Like we don't really see a lot of that.
That's true. The only time we see that is in like Marvel movies when they'll have like a 30-second scene where it's
Okay,
like,
but this is on the level of like Michael Bay gratuitous, right?
so it's like Magic Mike almost, would you say?
Yes, but like Michael Bay gross. Like
That's something else that I was gonna say. This sounded like Pain and Gain.
no, like okay, there are points it looks like fucking Pain and Gain. There are points where the movie is shot like a Michael Bay movie, but they're filming like a goofy comedies like scene. But it's shot like Pain and Gain. It's shot like a Michael Bay movie.
Interesting.
It's crazy.
All right, I have a question for you guys, but I kind of want to wait till David gets back. I don't know where he went.
I don't know.
All right, well, we can talk about it when he gets back. Have you guys been keeping up with? Oh, Sam, are you? You can continue until you're done, Sam.
Well, so I just have one more movie to talk about, which kind of relates to this movie in a weird way, because I watched a musical. It's a film. It's called The Lure. Has anybody seen this? The Lure?
Lure, yeah, I haven't seen it, but I know about it. Isn't this the one with the mermaid people?
Yeah. So
I want to watch it. It's on Hulu, right?
I don't know. It's on the Criterion Channel. It might be on Hulu. I'm not sure.
All right, don't spoil anything because I do plan on watching it.
Okay, so it's a Polish musical horror film coming of age story that is set in a seedy nightclub where it's set in the 80s in a seedy nightclub where this band finds these two mermaids out in the water. And they bring them back to the club and are like, all right, we got your new act. It's these mermaids. Whoa. And then from there, the movie kind of follows the mermaids as they're basically like teenagers coming of age, but they're also mermaids that want to eat people and have really gross like fish tails. But the music is really good. It's really catchy. It's a lot of like synth pop. Because the whole soundtrack is done by these two women that are actually featured in the movie, but the whole soundtrack is done by them. And actually, the movie is loosely based on like their experiences growing up, where they weren't mermaids that ate people, but they did grow up in like seedy nightclubs and like dealt with that. And my only gripe with the film is that there were points where it was difficult for me to follow the plot. And I think that comes from just the language barrier of having musical scenes and musical numbers that are meant to explain the plot and move it forward, but trying to pay attention to that while also like reading it. And it's just a whole thing. But it's a gorgeously shot movie. The performances are really good. Music's great. It's just a fascinating, weird little movie that's super good, super well done. I don't know. I don't want to say an easy watch. It's like an hour and a half, you know. Just really good, really interesting, and I highly, highly recommend The Lure. Really, really good. I was listening to the sound, which the best song on the soundtrack, if you want to get a taste of like what the soundtrack is like, it's a song called Abracadabra, which is like. It's like a punk synth song that reminds me of like, I don't know. Yeah, like a punk synth song, but then it has a really like beautiful and kind of haunting ending that like is even better once you see it like in the film. Really good.
I've been wanting to watch this movie for years. And then I think I saw it was on Hulu like a couple weeks back, and I was like, I gotta make time to watch this movie. But now I'm definitely gonna make time to watch this movie.
So I have a question for you guys now. So you guys, I was witnessing a piece of performance art that took place over the last few days, or last day, on Twitter, and it is have you guys kept up with the saga of Ana de Armas updates and Knives Out account?
Yes.
Something I saw something about it, yeah.
Yeah. So this is going to be the best film, honestly, of 2020. Like, I'll just be honest with you. It's the best piece of performance art and film I've ever seen, honestly. So basically, none of you guys know what it's about watching. None of our 20 viewers know about what it's about. Basically, Ana de Armas updates and Knives Out have been involved.
Oh, dude, I was just looking at this on the toilet.
Where Dave, like, I think Dave did a better job explaining it. Dave, I want David to explain it, actually. Okay, Dave.
All right, so this is the whole thing is very obviously like marketing shit, but it's really funny, so I don't care. Like, so basically the background of it is there's this Ana de Armas stan account called Ana de Armas Updates.
Yeah.
That got blocked by Ana de Armas. Because they think it was like one post they had was like making fun of her and Ben Affleck for not wearing masks. So yeah, so then the Knives Out account blocked them. And then they started like this Twitter beef. But specifically what I want to talk about with Ana de Armas updates is they tweeted something today in response to like the announcement of like Dunkin' Donuts is like closing 400 stores, and they tweeted like a bunch of pictures of Ben Affleck and Ana de Armas together, where he's holding like a Dunkin' Donuts cup.
Jesus Christ! Is that really? That's all that's it to it? You said it was a saga, Brandon. I was expecting like.
It's funny.
Why did Knives Out block them? What was the catalyst?
Oh, it was definitely just marketing.
Yeah, I don't think there was a
Damn.
Yeah, I don't think there was catalyst, honestly.
I'll have to look this up after the show.
Yeah, it's very entertaining, honestly. Like, David, would you call it performance art, David? Honestly, would you call it performance art?
Yes.
Yeah. See, it's beautiful, honestly. Like, I had more fun watching this than I had watching The King of Staten Island.
King of Staten Island, baby. I'm the king of Staten Island.
All
right, Dave. All right, Landon, what'd you watch?
Yeah, don't try to skip over me.
Sorry, Papa.
All right, so I watched The Nice Guys. After like a year. The Nice Guys. And that movie, an instant classic. Just
so good. Oh my god.
It's one of the tightest, funniest scripts I've ever like experienced, I think. It's
you who also only had one ball? You who only had one ball? Hitler.
I love his obsession with like Nazi Germany.
You who also just following orders?
Hitler. Oh my god. Yeah,
Dad, there are whores here and stuff. Don't say and stuff, sweetie. Just say there are whores here.
My biggest thing with that movie is like I watched it with my roommate and like he doesn't really love Ryan Gosling and he was like, I don't really like Ryan Gosling. I don't know if I'm gonna like this movie. And then by the end of it, he was like, man, Ryan Gosling's kind of perfect in that movie. And I was like, yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. It's just like, it's so good. Who would have thought that Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling would have perfect comedic chemistry? It's like perfect. It's like,
it's a crime that movie flopped, dude.
Yeah. Oh my God. I'm so upset. Can you imagine the
Angry
sequels?
Birds.
Huh?
It fucking flopped against Angry Birds.
It's
Yeah,
so
right.
good. It's
If a nice
Angry
guy's,
no, The Nice Guys.
if I win the lottery, I'm not gonna tell anyone, but you'll know because the Nice Guys sequel will just randomly get.
An anonymous benefactor funded The Nice Guys 2.
Wait, so would The Nice Guys 2 be a Disney movie then?
Oh, jeez.
It's a
Disney
Disney
Channel
movie.
original.
No, it's
Nice Guys
WB.
2.
Nice Guys 2 Electric.
It's like Ryan Gosling's doing the thing with the wand. He's like, "Hi, I'm Ryan Gosling. You're watching Disney Channel."
Yeah. Fucking Nice Guys 2 is a decom.
They cut the
It's like the
hand.
lineup is High School Musical, Camp Rock, and then Nice Guys 2.
And then 2 days after I watched Nice Guys, I watched a movie that made me appreciate The Nice Guys so much more, about how tight that script was and how funny that script was. I watched The Gentleman, which is so extremely mediocre that I was actually kind of mad.
The only thing I know about that movie is that whenever I'd see the marketing materials for it, I didn't watch like a trailer or anything, but just promo images, I'd be like, is this like the fucking, like, it looked like the, like what the in-movie version of like Kingsman would be. Like, you know, on The Last of Us, like there's like Dawn of the Wolf posters, and that's supposed to be like Twilight.
Yeah.
Like that's how I imagine The Gentleman is.
That's what it feels. It just feels like a ripoff of so many different movies, and it's a direct ripoff of Snatch, and it's just like
Which is his own movie.
It's his own movie. That's the funniest part. It's like him trying to catch lightning in a bottle twice, and he can't do it. And it's just like,
It feels like he's been trying to do it for the last like decade. Honestly, like
Yeah.
Uncle, even though it's really good, it's like
Then
it's very
he
similar
made,
to
like,
Snatch.
King Arthur, right?
Huh?
Wasn't King Arthur his latest movie before this?
it's not bad though. King Arthur isn't bad.
King Arthur is the best movie.
What's better, The Man from Uncle or?
But the liberals would want to make it Queen Arthur.
The liberals want to make the Man from Aunt.
The woman from Aunt? You can't say the man anymore.
Oh shit! Oh no!
Drew, I'm trying to bring up
again.
hold on. Drill had a good tweet earlier this week.
No, but yeah, I don't know. The Gentleman is bad. Like, the pacing is so bad in the movie. It's like it's so funny and witty. Like the whole movie is this framed conversation between a reporter and whatever the fuck his name is, Charlie Hunnam. It's framed. It's this framed like conversation between this reporter and Charlie Hunnam, and like the reporter's trying to get information out of Charlie Hunnam. He's like, "This is what I think happened to you, Charlie Hunnam." And then they go through this whole like fucking backstory, and then like Charlie Hunnam's like, "No, this is actually how it happened." And then they go through a whole nother fucking backstory, and then it's like, "Oh, we're selling weed and shit. Oh, 420 fucking blazing." I don't think this is funny.
So Landon, this sounds like The Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah, it basically is The Last of Us Part 2. Both of these fucking things suck. No, but I don't know.
You have the dual storylines, you have the weed, it's the same thing basically.
I'm like, I don't know why I'm so mad at this movie. I had it built up for me for like weeks. They were like, yeah, it's actually like really good. And I was like, oh, dude, I'm so excited to watch The Gentleman.
I'm so excited.
The only good part of The Gentleman is Colin Farrell.
Colin Farrell's the
So
good
good.
part ever.
He's
Wait,
so good.
isn't Hugh Grant in it?
Hugh Grant plays the reporter, and he's good, but he's
Dude, oh my god!
like play
this
like
chicken sandwich that I fucking had earlier today is fucking my guts up, man.
Jesus Christ.
That's why I keep like leaving every 5 minutes. Like, geez, like it's fucking my ass is like on fucking fire.
No, but like no, Hugh Grant's in it, but his only role is to be like an expository dump. And to
Would have been better if he
Tries
dressed
to be an
in
expository dump.
Wait, what did he say?
he said, "I'm about to take an expository dump."
Genius. Oh my god.
No, but like Hugh Grant's funny, and like they try to make it a joke that like Hugh Grant's hitting on like Charlie Hunnam's character the whole time, and like Hugh Grant's like actually like homosexual, and like, oh, look at him,
How edgy.
flirtatious with Charlie Hunnam. Oh, look at him. Oh, and then it's like, here comes Matthew McConaughey playing Matthew McConaughey for the 700th time. And there's like this forced scene where it's like, oh, look at this. Like they forced this rape scene in there, and it's just like, it's not good. It's not good. It's not good.
Bro, the only time, okay, sorry, I'm going to rephrase it. The last time it was appropriate to force in a rape scene was in the 70s, dude. We're past that.
Yeah. It was just like there's this bad guy in the movie. Oh, that was something else. Like he was like, Hugh Grant was like, oh, so we have our protagonist, and then they cut to Matthew McConaughey doing whatever he's doing, and then they're like, oh, and we got our fucking antagonist over here, and it's the guy from Crazy Rich Asians. What's his name?
Henry Golding.
Yeah, Henry Golding. He plays the antagonist, and he is just the most one-note villain that you could ever think of.
Henry Golding, also of A Simple Favor fame.
Yeah, of Simple Favor fame. Will do the most horrible things for no reason. No reason at all. It's just like...
That's why he's evil, though, dude. He doesn't need a motivation. He doesn't need a character. He's just bad.
They make racist jokes about him through the movie, too. And I'm just like, what is this? What is this? But everybody else I watched it with a group of people, and they all fucking love that movie. So I just had to keep my mouth shut.
You're like, yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, that was good. And then I watched Halloween. I've grown to like it a little bit more. I just don't think it's as great as a lot of people think it is. I think it's very kind of scatterbrained a lot of the time. I think it focuses on way too many characters. I think there's a lot you could have done with Laurie's character in general, and they kind of like, they focus on her for a while, and then she kind of takes a back seat to focus on her granddaughter, who isn't really that interesting. Everything dealing with her granddaughter and her boyfriend, I was just like, I'm completely zoned out. And Michael Myers, I don't think they know how to treat him properly anymore. Like he's a threatening presence, and like I don't think a Halloween movie in a long time has made Michael Myers like a truly threatening presence. He's just become a slasher monster. That's all he is now. And it's just like in the first movie, he's legitimately scary. I was never scared in the new Halloween, not once. I was just like, oh, look at that kill. He just stomped onto that guy's face. I could have watched the kill count for the new Halloween movie and gotten the same amount of enjoyment out of it.
I think we've had this discussion before, but I agree it is scattershot. Like, it is definitely, like, can't decide. It goes into tangents. Like, the humor does not work in that movie. The humor is not good in that movie at all.
I got peanut butter on my penis.
Right, just like, okay, all right. But
That's the line of any movie.
But I feel like I think it's one of the first Halloween movies, one of the only ones, since the first movie, that to me really understood what the first movie was going for and the type of horror that it was tapping into, which is the horror of like evil within domestic life, within suburban life. where people don't want to acknowledge the problem. They want to ignore it, act like it doesn't exist. And I think they do a good job of exploring that in Laurie and like exploring it in like her evolution as a character. I think you're right that they don't focus on her enough, where she starts out really interesting and you're really following her, and then she's kind of gone for most of the movie, and then she comes back in to be interesting,
Yeah.
And I think the movie the movie sticks the landing in the ending, specifically in the final shot, where it kind of like sums up everything that the movie's been saying, that it's been talking about. And I think that's why I'm hoping, like, they're already doing a sequel. It's not like you knew about it. It's happening, but I'm hoping they do learn from their mistakes. They do focus in more on like these themes and these ideas and like Laurie and her relationship and things like that, rather than let's put in some comedy. Let's throw in some random things.
Yeah, there was a lot of. Oh, sorry, Adam. You go.
No, I was gonna say I do like the Halloween 2018. I can see where the problems do come from, and I will say I did see today where I think John Carpenter tweeted that the final cut is done, or editing is done on the new one, and that they're sending it to the editors in New York or something.
I mean, none of these movies
remember
are
the exact tweet.
Where did the editors live, Adam?
I don't know.
Staten Island.
I'm back, boys.
I feel like my major. There's a lot of meta moments in the new Halloween movie as well that just don't sit right with me. Like there's that moment where like I think the cop is like, oh, he's the new doctor. What's the doctor's name in the first Halloween?
Loomis.
Yeah, he's the new Dr. Loomis. And it's just like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, okay, got it. And then you're like talking about weird like comedy scenes. There's that whole moment where like tension starts being built, and then they have this whole scene with cops in like a cop car sitting outside Laurie's house having some stupid ass conversation that wasn't funny at all.
It's like something about a sandwich or something.
Yeah,
it's
it's
about
like
sandwiches. Yeah.
it's like, oh, I went to this special sandwich shop, and like I know you like your PBJs, and like I made them waste this perfectly good bread on your stupid PBJ. Here you go. And he's like, oh, I actually packed lunch. And he's like, I guess I'll eat this stupid PB&J. And like the audience is supposed to laugh.
I'm laughing.
Yeah, but that's all I watched. And then I watched another movie today, and I've decided that's what I'm going to recommend. But we'll get to that later.
I'll end our Halloween discussion by saying no movie has beaten Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. No Halloween movie is better than that.
That movie is good.
Okay, yeah. So it's not as like Halloween 1's still the best. Season of the Witch, underrated. It's coming back. People are coming back and saying how good it is.
It has like this very like interesting like anti-capitalist like message to it.
Yeah. And it's like creepy and weird, and you're like, it's like a cult thing. You're like, what the fuck? It does have one of the best like final scenes, like kind of unsettling final scenes, where he's trying to like call on the phone to tell them to like turn off the recording. What does he say? He's like screaming something. I forgot it. Literally the perfect moment. I forgot. But Halloween Season of the Witch, great movie. Michael Myers is in it. That's kind of what makes it a great movie.
Yeah.
Because the whole idea was they were going to do, like, Halloween was going to be an anthology series after that, where every movie was going to have a Halloween name, but it would, like, be a horror story set in Halloween. I would have loved that, dude. It would have been so good.
Yeah.
They just need to figure. I think you're right, Sam. They're on the right track, but they need to tighten some shit up. They just need to kind of like take a screwdriver.
Tighten up, baby.
Tighten up. Hey, David, can you turn down your mic or your camera, or not your camera, your PC audio just a little bit? We're getting some echo.
Some echo. Okay.
Maybe that's better.
Speaking of things like Halloween season of the witch are good. Last of Us Part 2.
Oh.
So I think before we start talking about Last of Us Part 2, I think we should discuss a lot of the background, what led up to this game. First off, like we did with our The Last of Us Part 1 discussion, Naughty Dog is a terrible company and they do need to get their shit together and they do need to start treating their employees right because what they are doing is uncalled for, and game industries and people in the game industry,
They need a fucking union, man.
Yeah, they need to unionize, and they should have the right to unionize. And the gaming industry stop stepping in their way and making it unfathomable for that to happen. So, with that out of the way, after all that news came out about the terrible things that Naughty Dog was doing, news came out about Last of Us Part 2 leaks started to appear. And then, because of these leaks, a lot of people spent months knowing what was going to happen within this game. Brandon was one of them.
So just to clarify, well, okay, do you want to get into spoilers immediately, or do you want to wait till after this intro?
After the intro.
Okay, because I was just gonna ask, like, I don't know the extent of the leaks. I don't know how much they spoiled.
And we can just get into spoilers. If anybody hasn't played The Last of Us Part 2 yet, or hasn't watched it, or hasn't read the leaks, don't watch this part of the show.
It's very good. Play it.
It's very good. Play it. It's better than the
PS Vita
first.
makes an appearance.
Yeah, the PS Vita makes an appearance. That means it's better than the first game.
Objectively speaking.
Objectively. But yeah, so leaks contained that there was going to be a character named Abby that kills Joel with a golf club, correct, Brandon? Is that what happened in the leaks? You tell.
Yeah, a lot of really,
I don't know what happened in the leaks. You tell.
Okay, a lot of really good memes came from it. Now they're kind of like annoying, but they were good at the time. So basically, and full spoilers, right?
Yeah, full spoilers.
So basically, in the leaks, there were like a few sets of leaks. The beginning of the game where Joel dies in it was consistent throughout. It was the same thing. That was like Abby kills her with a golf club. The reasoning behind it was always consistent. Really, everything in the first half of the game was always consistent, always right in the leaks. The real point of contention came after that, and like what happens in the second half of the game, because the loss of vary between how long you play as Abby, what happens in that final fight, not final fight scene, but like the first set, like last final fight scene in the movie theater. The loss of there. Some leaks said Ellie died in it. Some leaks said Dina died. Some leaks said that like neither of them died. That was the end of the game, like period. But what's interesting to me is that there was never the ending of the game where Abby doesn't die never happened. All the leaks either had Ellie dying or Abby dying. None of them had like the thing where Abby like stays alive, and like they kind of had the final fight, but Ellie spares her. That never happened in the league. And like that's why, because like all the gamer boys, all the alpha gamers who like hate this game so much didn't see that in the leaks and were expecting Ellie to kill her. And then that's why, because they were expecting the whole time. They're like, okay, yeah, Ellie gets her revenge against this feminazi, this jacked up trans feminazi, and like. But like and I think that's where the big point of contention is, honestly, that ending. So yeah, that's kind of what happened in the league. So
yeah, and I feel like a lot of people, the reason that there's so much controversy behind this game also I think has to deal with this idea that these people knew about what was going to happen for 2 months, and they never played it. They never knew what led up to that. They didn't know what would follow. So they just had this like simmering feeling of just like this anger and tension just building and building. And over that like 2 months, they made up their mind about the game. That was nothing that happened was going to change that. The artistry that actually went into the game, the love and care that went into the game, none of that mattered to them because they killed a lovable character in the first like 2 hours, even though really a lovable guy. Joel is kind of a terrible
Piece of
person.
shit.
He made arguably the worst, most selfish choice in the history of humanity in that world in that game. Like, and then the first game.
Adam, remember when you tried to defend Joel? Or you said you...
It was more I understood why he did it than defend.
No, you understand why he did it, but it's
It's like
that's why it's so good. But like, it's so yeah, it's a terrible act. Like,
Yeah. And I think that's where a lot of it happened. But then, once you play the game, you realize that this is not just a game where it's like, okay, violence is bad, revenge is bad. This game's gonna be about. You realize that this game is a very like deep dive look into psyche, dealing with PTSD, dealing with the sins of your father, dealing with the idea of love being corrupted, and the idea of just having this. It's very Uncharted for us, where you have this. It's this obsession that drives you to a point where you push everybody away from you, kind of thing, and it's so well like done. And I don't know how they could have made it better.
yeah.
Well, I know we're going to talk about this because, Brandon, you think that they should have put the game together in a different way?
No, I mean, like, I think it's really good the way it is now. I think that if they would have staggered it throughout, like, you kind of switch. It's not like you play one whole half as Ellie, then switch to Abby for the rest of it.
I thought that the first time I played it, because like, well, the first time you play it, you don't know, like, oh, I'm gonna like get a conclusion to Ellie's side of the story, essentially. Like, you don't know you have that third like epilogue. So like the first time I played it, like for like the first like 2 days I was playing as Abby, up until you really like go to like the hospital area with Love. Like that whole first time, like I was like so distracted. I was like, I want to play as Ellie again. Like I don't care about this character. Like, you know what I mean? But like the second time I played, I thought structure like worked way better.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it works. I definitely agree. I think it works, but like, I don't know. I would like to play a game to see if it actually like how it does work out. I'd like to play a game where like everything happened in the first half, and then Abby kills Joel, and then maybe they switch. You make the switch where they're at the zoo, and like you see the zebra and everything, and then like, but then you don't see that right away. You don't see Joel kill her dad right away. Then you switch back to Ellie. Then you play a little bit more. And then just before the movie theater, you see like Joel do the thing. I would I don't know. I think the structure can be played with a lot of different ways, but I think it works the way it does now, honestly.
And one thing I'll say, kind of what David was saying is, you know, when they initially switched to Abby and it goes Seattle day one, I'm like, oh fuck, like I gotta play through the whole game again.
You were like, I have to play through this whole game again.
Yeah, you have to be like, because you're like, even like knowing what Joel did, like it's like obviously like a terrible action, but you're still attached to him. So like you start it and you're like, I gotta play as the bitch that killed Joel.
It's this weird emotional confliction, right?
Yeah.
We're like going. There came a point where I was like the fact that the game starts with you like switching between Ellie and Abby. I was like, okay, they're gonna try to get me to care about Abby. They're gonna try to get me to understand that what Ellie's doing is bad. Okay, whatever. But what I wasn't expecting to work so effectively is how well they developed Abby and how fully fleshed out and interesting she is. Okay, but before I go down that rabbit hole, I just want to make this weird comparison where getting to that halfway point in Last of Us Part 2 where it's like, oh, guess what? There's another half of the game. It reminded me of like playing, this is going to be kind of weird. It reminds me of like playing a JRPG where you like have one villain to go towards. So you get to the villain after like 30 hours and they're like, guess what? He's not the real villain. It's this other person you didn't know about. So then you have another 40 hours to go, right? Like fucking Dragon Quest or something. And so there's that initial like, man, the game isn't over. I got to keep going. But then once you like stick with it, you're like, okay, this is worth it. They made it worthwhile. Like I'm with it, you know? I think Last of Us does a much better job of that because it is it's so integral to the plot and to what it's saying and to what it's doing, right? Where like I think it's weird. I feel like if we didn't get that time with Abby, like if it was a shortened version of it, I don't think it would be as effective.
Yeah.
I don't think it would work as well.
It's just, I feel like the main goal of what Abby's story is to show, because me and you kind of talked about this a little bit, Sam, where I feel like Abby has the moral high ground throughout the entirety of the game.
And I think it helps that like she's sort of on the other side of the journey that Ellie's going through.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I think the main like what the game is trying to do in that portion is to show the impact, or like how much of a monster Ellie has kind of turned into, like this kind of like boogeyman figure that is within the background of this kind of separated story of what's happening, but there are these ripple effects that are occurring.
Yeah, it really does a good job, like even through like gameplay, it really does a good job like forcing you to deal with like your actions.
Yeah.
And I want to say that's what I think is so powerful about this game, is that, you know, The Last of Us 2 is so effective, not because it's trying to imitate a movie or a book or like whatever, but because it takes advantage of its medium, where it is a game that works so well specifically because you are controlling it, because you are the one that has a connection to it.
Yeah, it's the same thing with the first too.
Yeah.
And I think, well, and it's this is kind of jumping ahead, but I watched a video where this person was like playing the last part of the game, and she gets to the end with the fight.
Is this Alana Pierce?
Yeah.
I watched this.
Right. And she gets to the end and she like watches the scene of Ellie like, you know, letting Abby go, and she keeps saying, I wish that was a choice that I could have made, because that would have been way more interesting and difficult because you had to weigh everything. And I was like, I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
I think it's powerful because same with Joel, right? Like that's what a lot of people said at the end of The Last of Us when it first came out, where they were like, man, I wish I could have chosen, like if I like saved her or let her go. And I'm like, no, that's what makes it challenging. That's what makes it difficult, is that you have to, you know, you're in control of this character. You're seeing what they're doing. You have this connection, so that when they make a choice separate from you, you have to really reconcile with that. You have to really challenge that, you know? Like if you get to that point in the game and for some fucking reason you want Abby to die, like if you're just that heartless and like unable to like pay attention to what's happening, you know?
Yeah.
And then Ellie makes that choice, that's gonna hit you so fucking hard. So that when you get to that last scene with Joel and Ellie, the one that she sees before she makes her decision, I feel
the last moment she had with Joel was her talking about forgiveness, and it blows my mind that they were able to, like, that they like put that scene in, and people are still just like so fucking pissed that she like let her go.
That scene is so
poetic. It's so poetic.
That scene is so fucking powerful. Like I had to pause the game the first time I played it because I literally couldn't stop fucking crying during that final flashback.
Oh my god, dude! The moment that killed me, and it's not even like anything major. It's just like they're talking, and they're like, clearly it's an awkward conversation. And they start talking about Dina, and Joel is like, well,
yeah.
And she's like, I mean, not really. It's complicated. And he goes, well, whatever her intentions are, like she'd be lucky to have you. And I just started,
you're such a fucking asshole.
I just started like fucking crying, and then like she goes, you're such an asshole, and just waterwork, keep going, man. And God, no.
He's like, what does he say? They're just her saying, you took everything.
Yeah.
Everything. It's just like, and that's the thing that like, you know how much Ellie. This is the thing that I've been just like wrestling with since I beat the game, or like found out that Ellie knew about his choice. And it's just like, you know that Ellie knows that Joel doomed humanity, but she still has And like this is another thing I talked to you, Sam, about was after you beat it, was it's just like, I feel like this was Ellie's way of finding a new meaning to her life, because it's like this fabricated meaning that her life takes on, that her only life goal now is revenge. Even if her goal was a lying, manipulative kind of person that was kind of controlling of her life. And it's just like, she just found a way to start like caring about him again just because of that final conversation. It's just, I don't know. I just think it's such a hard game to talk about. Like I literally, there's so much put into it. There's so many themes. There's so many like categories that are going on. Like we were talking about the firefly and like the moth and like how it's just, it's just so
It's
brilliant.
so good. Like,
And just to interject, I have not said anything this entire time because I have not played it yet.
Yeah, sorry, Adam. We're spoiling everything.
It's fine. I'll forget about it by the time I play it.
And
Just watch it, Adam.
Definitely one
I'll be
thing
right
I want to point out is that Ashley Johnson gives like by far the best performance I've ever seen in a video game at this.
Yeah.
Like she's so fucking good in this game, it's ridiculous.
During that last scene where she's talking to Joel and she's like, I don't think I could forgive you for that, but I'd like to try.
Yeah.
You can see she doesn't want to say it. She's like, I don't want to forgive this guy. You can see in her face, she barely gets the words out. She's like, I would like to try.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Also,
ooh.
I love how how restrained they are with that scene.
Mm-hmm.
Like they could have really easily overdone that. Like they could have like had like a nice like hug moment,
All the
of
tears.
forgiveness. But the fact that like they're so restrained about it makes it like 100 times more powerful.
Yeah.
and like that like long lingering shot, they like, it's not even that long, but that shot that they have on Joel when you start to see like a tear build up in his eye, it's like, it's so, and like the way that his voice cracks. And he's like, I'd like that, and it's just like, oh God, it's just so
like, and just the flashback scenes in general in that game. Like the game is for the most part like really fucking miserable. Like but the fact that like it has like the way the flashbacks like contrast that, especially the first one you have with Ellie, where you're going like the Natural History Museum and you have that fucking scene in the, oh my God, I start fucking crying thinking about it. Yeah, that fucking scene in the fucking space
the
shuttle.
space shuttle. Yeah,
Oh God, I'm gonna fucking cry. It's like,
it's so good.
and well, so this is kind of going back to Abby. I don't know if this makes any sense or if y'all agree with it, but I feel like Abby's gameplay and the way she controls and her story and the weapons she gets all remind me of Joel.
yeah.
In a sense.
I think that's very purposeful.
Yeah, and I just found that really like it came at the point where she like got the double barrel shotgun, and I was like, wait, this is kind of like playing like Joel.
And then
like,
you get the flamethrower, and then you get like,
and you also have to make ships and knives, and I was like, oh shit, like we're playing as Joel again, like essentially gameplay.
I mean, her story with Lev is very similar too.
Yeah, exactly. And so I find that choice so fascinating in the sense of like connecting the two and sort of like, I'm not sure the exact purpose, right? I'm not sure exactly like what I'm trying to accomplish with it, but I feel like it's almost in a weird way like showing how like more connected they are than they thought they were, maybe, or like, you know, again, that inability to empathize with someone, that inability to sort of understand where they're coming from, being driven by blind rage, to then accomplish that goal, to kill someone and then lose meaning, right? To still feel empty and hollow, nothing to do, right? Which is probably how Joel felt for fucking 20 years, right? Like after his daughter died, it's like, where do you find meaning in? Taking care of other people. That's the important thing, is to just take care of each other. That's going to be the meaning that you get.
Also, like something I noticed while watching the game and everything, it's like we talked about it before in like past episodes and past everything, but with like games like Uncharted that Naughty Dog's made before, like you don't feel any of the weight when you're like killing people or anything.
Yeah.
And it's always like, oh, I'm Nathan Drake. I'm gonna commit war crimes and like mow down.
Yeah. You're one of like the most accomplished murderers in history.
Exactly. In like the world. And like, but in this one, like you like people when you like stab somebody, you can like see the light leave their eyes, or you can like when you like strangle people, you can hear them like.
Oh, it's fucking disgusting. Like if
Brutal.
somebody told me like they didn't like the game exclusively due to violence, I think it's like a completely legitimate reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like,
One of the things. Go ahead.
no, sorry, Sam. Go ahead. Go.
Well, I was just like on that same note. I remember before the game came out, Neil Druckmann was like, "Don't worry, guys. You don't have to kill the dogs. It's gonna be fine."
Oh, you don't have to kill fucking dogs.
It's like the only way to not kill the dogs is to set on the feature where no one can see you when you're crawling, and you just skip the part.
Yeah, the dogs are the first thing to catch me.
You have to kill that one dog at the end of Ellie's story.
Yeah.
You know.
The moment that really got me within like the gameplay and the dual like structure of the game. I know a lot of people have made fun of this. Is that like, oh, they make you kill dogs just so you could feel empathy, blah blah blah, like that whole thing. Fuck those people. Shut up. But like, there's a moment where you're playing as Ellie, and like, I remember firing one of those like arrows that have like the explosives.
Yeah.
And I shot it at somebody that was walking like one of the tracking dogs, and like one of the other people on the other side of the map just screamed, "Bear, no!" And I was like, I've never heard like, is that guy's name Bear? Like, what just happened? And then you get to the moment as you're playing with, and you get to that pin, and she goes like, "Hey, what's up, Bear?" And it's just like, I was just like, oh my fucking God. Are you fucking kidding me right now?
Yeah.
The worst discovery I made in the whole fucking game that I regretted immediately was I was really bad at using my tools for most of the game, right? Near the end of like Ellie's story, I was like, oh yeah, I have these like trip mines. I'll just set one down, whatever.
I never used any of them.
Yeah, I never used strip mines the entire game. I thought those were useless.
No, the trip mines are so helpful because of this. It's so awful. Trip mines are helpful because I set it down, walked away, and then I like put on the skill hearing mode, and I realized that like, oh yeah, the dog follows my scent. And so the dog walked into the mine because it was following my scent. And I was like, shit, that's really effective, but I feel terrible because I just blew up a fucking dog.
One thing that I think is super fucking cool about this game is because this gameplay-wise, I've been the first Last of Us probably like 13 or 14 times. I've been on like Survivor. I'm so good at that game. Like I know all the AI routes. Like I can sneak by like in any encounter. Like I'm fucking obsessed with the first one. But one thing that I noticed, especially when I was playing it the second time, is, dude, you cannot predict, especially the human enemies doing this game, you can't even kind of predict what they're going to do. Like, it's fucking impossible. Especially in certain areas, like the area where you first get to, like, steal the boat in Ellie's side, like, where there's, like, 3 layers to it. Oh, impossible.
Yeah.
Like...
Sam, you were talking to me about that one encounter you had where like
so this is like fairly early on. Like I've been playing the game for maybe 5 hours. Like it's Seattle day 1. And it's like one of the larger areas. I forget exactly what we were trying to accomplish. But we're going through it. I like basically walked from like one building all the way down to like a gate. Like just like a straight shot. And I was like, oh, let me go back, make sure that I like explored everything. And I found this gas station. I was like, oh, let me check that out. So I go to the gas station, the music starts playing, Ellie pulls out her gun. I was like, oh shit, something's going down. There's something in here. I don't know if it's like a wolf or if it's a zombie. I don't know. Let's figure it out. So I'm I'm going through, I'm crouched, I'm trying to be sneaky. And I keep putting on the listening mode. I can't see anybody. Like, no one's there. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So then I just ended up, but then like a subtitle like popped up that was like a soldier like screaming. What the fuck? So I go outside and there's like an enemy patrol fighting a group of clickers completely separate from me.
Yeah.
Like they're having their own like fucking game over there, and I'm just in the grass watching. Like, oh shit! And then I like went over to like loot the bodies because they're all dead, and a different patrol came by and like snuck up on me and almost killed me.
That's something I noticed when I was on my second playthrough because I'm like trying to get all the artifacts. Like if you stay in one place long enough in Seattle, like a different patrol will come.
Yeah, it's so and I just remember like in the Last of Us part, like the first game, you would go into an area. It was very clear how many people were in there, and you could pretty easily figure out like, all right, I'll take this guy out, go here, blah blah blah, you know, whatever. Anytime I thought I was done in The Last of Us Part 2, it'd be like, okay, here's like 5 more people that you just didn't see because they were far away. Like in Hillcrest, I like got there right in that first area, and I was like, all right, cool, I took out everybody. Then there was like another house that I didn't know about that I was running around, and like a little notification popped up that was like, hey, don't run, people will hear you. I'm like, who's gonna hear me? And someone fucking shot me.
Yeah, also just another thing that needs fucking like this is like the cool like maybe the animation in that game is like especially in game like obviously cutscenes can be great but like in game like it's fucking insane how good it is. Like
I love
like if you when you get caught in that game and you like go like full fucking Uncharted action hero. Like it looks so cool. Like,
yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like the account, I follow a couple accounts on Twitter that just post like highlights of like how good these players are.
I can't remember what his name is. I know it's like City Legend or something.
Yeah, and it blows my mind. It's like
it's fucking insane.
It looks like a movie. I'm like, this is insane.
I remember when they did the E3 demo and the first showed off the gameplay like 2 years ago. I remember thinking like. That's insane, but there's no way it's ever going to look that good in the game. And it does. Like,
and then you play the game and it's that. And you're like, how the fuck?
Also, I don't know if this moment like made you guys cry or not, but like this is a moment that really like impacted me and I don't know why. It's that trailer that we saw at E3 where like Dina and Ellie have that kiss.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That made me cry. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like watching that trailer, I was like, "Oh, this is like cute," but like the moment she said, "We should be terrified of you," like I just remember just like bawling. I was like, "Holy shit!" Like, wow, this is.
And like when that,
sorry,
I was gonna say when it kicks in at the end, like I thought they would play that scene at the beginning of the game.
Yeah,
when she starts playing on the guitar, and I saw the trailer, she starts playing on the guitar, I'm like, oh my god, they're gonna do it, and then it's just like cuts to black, and you see it, and it just hits, like it hits so hard.
Bro, the moment that kills the thing about that killed me was since it's before the very end of the game, I thought that was the last moment Ellie had with Joel.
Yeah.
Like getting mad and like running off. And I was like, oh, fuck, dude, that's going to hurt. But then the actual last moment, like, hurts even more. And I was like,
One thing I love about that game, especially this is what I was really kind of worried about. Because the first game, it was up until, I guess, I played the second game, it was, like, by far my favorite piece of media. Like, I fucking love these characters so much. So I was really worried about how they would introduce new characters. Because, like, you know, it's like, these aren't my guys. I don't know these people. But they do a really good job of making you like Jesse and Dina like right away.
Yeah. Like I didn't love Dina at first. I'm gonna be upfront and honest. I thought she was kind of annoying. But then when we get to like Seattle day one and they're like riding on the horse together, doing like that banter, I was like, this is really cute. I like them a lot. I hope that they have a happy ending together.
You know what I hate though? Because when I was playing through the game first, I was going to tweet, I was like, man, it'd be so cool if we got a Jesse Uncharted The Lost Legacy style spinoff. Like 20 minutes later, he died. And they aren't even like sanctimonious about it. Like you just go in the cutscene, you just get shot. Like
so quick. And it's so surprising.
You don't even have time to process what just happened. You're just
Yeah,
like,
yeah, and it's like Ellie's the same way in the game. She's just like Jesse, and then she has to like get up right away. So like Tommy doesn't.
it's same with Manny. Like Manny kind of.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's really interesting how like everything in the game is like parallel.
Yeah, dude, Manny. All right, I'll have a discussion with you, Sam, because we were texting about this.
Yeah.
Why don't you like Owen?
I fucking
I
love
don't
him.
dislike. Oh, okay. I don't know if I like actively dislike Owen. Okay, I kind of do. I don't know.
Especially
Owen-
in the first time I played the game, I was like fine with him. And the second time I played, I really came to like him. Like,
I feel like he has the most humanity out of every character.
yeah, he's like maybe the only character in the game that's like genuinely like a good person. Like,
Except for like cheating on his wife.
yeah, except for cheating. But in terms of the context of like what all the other characters do in that game, like like cheating on your partner in that world doesn't even seem like a big deal.
But like, okay. I will like Owen's like I don't know if I like strongly dislike him. I'm just like kind of indifferent or like not crazy about him. I like Mel. People shit on Mel.
Yeah, I really
I like Mel. I hate Mel.
Yeah, I get where she's coming from. Like she fucking hates Abby, and I'm like, I get it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, exactly. It's like, yeah.
Like, I see, like you literally joined a mission where she went to murder a guy. Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't like her either.
Yeah.
And
I
we
mean, they didn't just murder him. They fucking. Oh,
Exactly.
by the way, the way they kill Joel. Yeah, the way they kill Joel is so fucking good. Like the way, just the build up of it, and you go in that fucking room, and you see all the characters' faces just fucking light up as soon as they hear the name Joel. Like you see them, and they're like,
Oh my god! And he's like, "You look like you've heard of us." And he's
yeah.
like,
And Abby's like, because we have. It just shoots him. Like,
And people are so mad about that. They're like, oh, Joel would have never trusted people outside
yeah.
Jackson Town. I know Joel better than Neil Druckmann.
Yeah, exactly.
He's been living in comfort for 4 fucking years, dude. Like,
Yeah.
what do you think is gonna happen?
Oh my god! I want to talk about Lev real quick, and then we probably should wrap this up because we're about it for a while. But I love Lev. Like Lev is my favorite character in the game. Like I genuinely love him so much. Like he's very similar to Ellie in the first game.
Yeah.
But there's just something about him and his kind of disconnect. It's not even a disconnect. It's just like the different culture he's grown up in a different world adds this very kind of really great dynamic between him and Ellie. And I don't know. And like the scene, like I like bawled during this scene too. Like when you show up and you see that he killed his mom.
Yeah.
He's like, I had to do it.
It reminds me of when Joel shows up after Ellie kills David in the first game.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that. Damn, bro. And then also everything, the Seraphites just in general are just terrifying.
Oh yeah.
They're
So
actually,
interesting. It's so interesting.
I love the world building in this game.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Seattle is always, it never feels bland. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Always,
Yeah.
there's always something going on. Like Seattle feels more fleshed out than the entirety of the world in the first Last of Us, where you go to 6 different cities, or like 3 different cities. And it's just like, it's so, like, you're like, oh, they're on an island. You get to the island and you're like, you see the fucking Space Needle and you're like,
Yeah, that was crazy.
I was like, damn, the world would just be terraforming itself. Like, what the?
Yeah.
There's also the incredible moment, and this is something I was kind of dreading because I like sort of knew about it beforehand. Is going over the sky bridge.
Oh yeah.
So to give some context, I have a fairly bad fear of heights, and there came a point. I think it was like the first time you're playing as Abby and you're like trying to get Mel and Manny through like the one area and you go over the roof And they're like, "Hey, Abby, are you good?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'm okay." And I was like, "Don't you fucking tell me Abby has a fear of heights. Don't you fucking tell? If she has a fear of heights, they're gonna have a sequence that fucks with fear of heights. Like I can tell." And then they're going up the building. And I was like, "Motherfucker!" Like, no, it's gonna fucking happen. And then you have to go over the fucking scaffolding.
Yeah.
The fucking scaffolding, bro. I've never been that scared in a game. Like,
yeah, I know. They do a really good job of like making you feel like you're having a panic attack.
like, oh my god, dude, it was
It
so
also like the animation on her as well is just like I remember I was like I can see her legs shaking right now. Like
yeah.
I really see how terrified she is. It's incredible. And then it's like 2 hours later you fight like the Rat King, and it's just like absolutely insane.
Yeah. That's by the way, yeah. I think my only legitimate gripe with this game is when you fight that like fucking infected Krang thing. I was like, that's too much. That's way too much. That design, I was like, this is ridiculous.
It felt like Resident Evil.
But I was like, come on, dude.
I'm thinking like the end of Resident Evil 7. Like it's really goofy, but it's still like really good.
Yeah, I think they just made a smart choice in general to have like the infected like way less in this game compared to the first.
Like the first, I remember I was like, when am I going to start killing people? Because like I've just been killing infected for like 4 hours now.
Yeah.
I'm ready to start killing people, and then I start killing people. I'm like, I don't like killing people no more.
But I love the stalkers. The stalkers.
Stalkers are scary.
Bro. That's such a great idea. It's such a great
in the first game.
The stalkers,
yeah, but they weren't as like effective in the first game.
Yeah,
the first
they weren't as like interesting as they were in this game.
Whoa, wait. Were there enemies in The Last of Us that would come up and attack you and then disappear?
Yeah.
No, in the first game they didn't do that.
Yeah, they did. There's that scene where you're playing as Joel, and it's like when you fall down the elevator shaft. And
oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and like the bloater shows up, and you start the generator, a bloater shows up, and then all the stalkers show up, and they'll hit you, and they'll just run away.
Yeah, I don't remember. I didn't remember that because normally when I play that game now, because I played it so much, like I'll go in that sequence, and I'll just kill the infected beforehand. Also, I love this is definitely something that happens in the game that's scripted, but it doesn't feel scripted when it happens. Like day 2 or 3 when you're Ellie in Seattle, like there's a workbench you go to, like right before you first find the Seraphites, where like wolves will attack you while you're at a workbench.
They're not even wolves though. They're
like former wolves. Like they don't want them to find.
They're just trying to escape, and then you just kill these innocent people.
Yeah. I know.
And she's like, "Oh fuck, they weren't wolves," and you're like, "Okay."
Yeah.
You just killed innocent people, and you're just like,
it was just some misunderstanding where both of them thought the other was wolves.
So if there's one criticism I can have against the game, it is when you're in Santa Barbara, right?
Yeah.
And you have whoever like the last faction is.
The Rattlers.
Yes, the Rattlers, because I feel like the game spends so much time like showing you both sides and making you understand that like every conflict has like everybody's a good person in their own story. The Rattlers are just like shitty people. There was never a moment where I was like, oh, maybe I'm misunderstanding. Like, no.
Even Ellie's like that.
You have this fucking jack dude just like deck a 12-year-old directly in.
Yeah, but even in game, like there's a moment where you like first like climb on top of like a train car or something, and Ellie sees like the slave camp they have, and she's like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I mean, admittedly, it leads to one of the best moments in the game, which is the final fight.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Do you want to know how sick I was to my stomach during that fight? Like I was really just like, I can't do this. Like,
that fight is honestly like perfect. Like it's because like throughout the entire like watching that thing happen, watching everything kind of play out, watching her kind of trying to find Abby throughout it, And then like you're expecting this big epic thing where they're all like at their final form.
Yeah.
Everybody just like beat the shit out of each other. But like you see her and just like, oh shit. Like
Yeah.
what happened?
Even Ellie looks like nutritionally like deficient. Like
Yeah, like both of them just like when they want to, even before Ellie like stops killing her, like it seems like even she doesn't want to fight. Like when she gets there, like because they
like when
walk to the boat,
she puts her bag in that boat and she's just like, she lets out a deep breath.
Yeah.
God, it's like
she puts the knife. I don't like Ellie in this game. Like I legitimately don't like Ellie. I think she's a bad person.
Yeah.
But like when she puts like the knife to Lev's neck,
yeah.
I'm just like, oh my fucking god.
He's just like,
She
Jesus.
crossed the line. Like, no.
And that shot of her.
It mirrors that moment with Abby, where like Abby's about to kill Dina, and
and you're like
his neck, and like Lev's like, stop. And
Bro,
maybe she would have
when Ellie says she's pregnant, and it's like, bro, you already killed the one that was pregnant. So
she was like, she's pregnant, and she's like, good.
Yeah.
Do you think she would have killed Lev if Abby didn't fight her?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Why wouldn't she? She literally left the only person that loved her to go all the way to Santa Barbara, California to kill Abby.
Yeah, but I think once she gets to the point and she sees Abby, like the fact that she doesn't fight Abby right away, no, you can already tell, like even before she says fuck it and fights her, like you can already tell there's some like part of Ellie that's like, this isn't worth it. This isn't gonna do anything for me.
It's just so heartbreaking. That whole fight.
I love the shot of her after she lets Abby go and she's just sitting in the water. Like, and she just realizes that, like, and they have the cuts where you see
her fingers.
Joel, you see her fingers, and you see Joel, like how she saw Joel like during the last moments of his life, and she like realizes like there's nothing that's gonna bring me peace. Like there's nothing that will bring him back, and she just like has to just sit there like having like really for the first time like actually like really accepting it.
Think about it.
Yeah.
And it's just like also playing the song at the end.
Yeah, Future.
That's when the tears start flowing. Because
out the fingers does it sound right?
Yeah. And it's just like I watch like streamers play it and they get to that scene and they just fuck around. They're like, oh, look at this. Ooh. I'm like, you're ruining.
Yeah, I know.
Ruining this.
You really have the whole game to do this. Like, stop.
There's literally a part of the game that you can just fuck around with a guitar, like in the fucking movie theater.
Like that moment's like, it's just like with every note that she like can't hit, and you hear that like boom, like that false note hit, like your heart drops lower and lower and lower and lower. And then the final shot, Brandon's been talking about the final shot for like weeks. He's been like, you're gonna love the final shot, and he's right.
It's great.
I love how open-ended they made this. Like, I personally don't think. I think Ellie's completely lost herself, and now she has to go walk into the nothingness and find something to do. So like,
I mean, the final track that plays is called "Beyond Desolation." So I think you're fucking right about that interpretation. I think that's what they wanted to go for.
Well, like when we talked about like what she might do, and like we were talking about like she might probably go to like the Fireflies or like whoever's left, and like
I think that would be such. The more I think about that, I'm like, that's such like a cheap. If they make The Last of Us Part 3 and it's like Ellie's journey back to the Fireflies and it's like, I actually want to be the cure.
Well, no.
I hope they'll make a Part 3.
But they're not gonna make. I'm just saying that's like what she might do. Like after it. Like they're not. I don't think they shouldn't make it the third game. I'm just saying that like that's probably what she would do instead of just killing herself. She would kill herself. To, like,
I don't think she's gonna kill herself.
Yeah, I don't think that.
Okay. Would you want a Part 3 if you play as Abby?
Yes.
No.
Okay. That's how I feel too.
I just don't want a Part 3 in general. I think it's
with the Fireflies doing shit. Like, yeah, I'm here for it. Let's go.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want like straight up part 3. Maybe like Lost Legacy type of thing.
I don't even
Rather
think I
than-
want that. I don't know. It's done. Like I feel like I never felt that way with part 1 either. I know a lot of people are like, yeah, they'll make a sequel, but like with this one, I'm like, yeah, it's done.
That good.
Like
I feel
it's
that.
done. Like it's over with. Like I don't really think there's like a continuation. I think they can do something that's like maybe set in between the games. I hope that's what they do with the TV show. But in terms of
Ronda Rousey, Abby. No, I'm serious. Like you might think this is a joke.
No. I'm agreeing with you. I was trying to be like,
And
that's a
did you
great
see-
idea. Like, that
Did you
genuine
see
great
Ronda Rousey in Entourage? Like,
I did not, but I
Of
tell
course,
you,
I see Ronda Rousey in Entourage, best movie ever.
I don't know. I think Ronda Rousey would be a good Abby. Make what the fuck is her name? The girl from Booksmart.
Caitlin Deaver, yeah, I was about to say.
Hey, Caitlin Deaver, Ellie. I don't know. I don't know who would be Joel. I literally think you should get
Joel.
Joel to be
Josh
honest.
Brolin.
No. I want somebody unknown because, like, I don't know.
Kevin James as Joel.
Adam Sandler.
Kevin James, Joel.
No,
Rob
Adam
Schneider.
Sandler is Joel. Adam Sandler is Joel, but he's
Rob
Adam
Schneider.
Sandler is Joel, but he's doing like the Howard Ratner voice.
You know what? I could see Adam Sandler being a Joel. You know,
He just gets super buff. Like he just gets really jacked.
You know, Ellie, if I get in trouble down there, you know, you make every shot count. You better fucking win. You like to fucking win, Ellie? I like to fucking win.
oh, my God.
Oh, Tessa, you fucking kidding me? You kidding me? You're fucking infected? Are you joking right now?
Oh my God.
You got like a
You-
I
bag of
didn't
Celtics
fucking
games on
kill the
tape.
Fireflies, Ellie. You fucking listen to me.
He's got like a bag of Celtics games on cassettes. He just
Yeah.
carries around.
They like get in the car and instead of playing an old country song, it's just a Celtics game.
Or it's Adam Sandler's Hanukkah. Now this is a classic. This is a little bit before my time, but this is a classic. It's just Adam
Man, one
Sandler
of my
singing
favorite movies
Hanukkah.
was 8 Crazy Nights.
Oh, yeah, Ellie's like, yeah, we planned on watching a movie on like Friday. It's I think it's called 8 Crazy Nights.
Adam Sandler, like on the when they're driving, he's like, I got something to play for you. It's just the weekend. He puts a weekend. You know, this guy beat the shit out of me at a club one time.
Do you want the show to follow this game?
Isn't it gonna?
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, like I don't know. Like
That's the hard part. Is like
yeah, I really like. I'm glad Neil Druckmann's doing it, but like I don't really see the fucking point. Like in a live action version of it. It's the same thing that I feel about like Uncharted. Like it's just like.
yeah.
But the Last of Us is a little different than Uncharted because there's a lot more fucking world building in The Last of Us
Mhm.
than Uncharted. Because even if they follow the first game, there's a lot more like stuff you can do like compared to Uncharted, which is just like Uncharted movie's like pointless for two reasons. Like one, it's fucking Indiana Jones. Two, like fucking like the Uncharted games are very cinematic. Like there's no fucking point making live action.
Can you imagine The Last of Us TV series? And it does follow the game, but it gets to like episode like 6 or 7, and it's just like, oh, it's right after you like Joel and Ellie fall off the bridge, and
Yeah.
the episode ends, and then the next episode follows Ishmael's story.
Oh yeah.
That would be incredible.
That'd
That
be
would be
awesome.
incredible. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That would slap so fucking hard. That's what I'm saying. I want an anthology series where they just put like video to the notes that are being left around the world.
You get like
Yeah,
Bill's
that'd be cool.
story. You get like Bill's story early on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, here's another tiny gripe I have about this game. I tweeted about this yesterday. The score is kind of shit compared to the first one.
You're so wrong, David. You're so wrong.
The first game score is a fucking banger. Fucking rules. The second
I
one.
own this score on vinyl, so.
Ooh, well, so did I, dude. Fuck you. Got the Ellie edition. Yeah.
Okay, well. You haven't put it on vinyl yet?
Got my little backpack, my Ellie backpack.
Actually,
I gotta tell you, the fucking statue that came with that fucking game, with that collection edition, it's so big.
it's so good though.
Yeah, I love it, but it's so, dude. I swear to God, that fucking Ellie edition package like 50 fucking pounds, dude.
Yeah.
And I was gonna fucking throw up my back when I was bringing it up to my room.
All right, so not to cut the conversation short, but we might want to wrap it up. Get to a simple favor, because that is the
Forgot we were even talking about that.
Are there any last words, any last things anyone wants to say about the game? Any final thoughts?
Well, even in my wildest dreams, I didn't really ever expect to like this game, even as much as the first one. So the fact that I probably like it even more is fucking insane to me.
That's how
Look out for my video essay about The Last of Us Part 2 coming in like 3 months.
I'll be there day one. I'm excited for it. Yeah, The Last of Us Part 2 is a masterpiece. I think it's really, in the same way that The Last of Us really moved the medium forward, I think Part 2 is going to do the same.
Yeah.
Sorry, Sam. Don't mean to interrupt you. I'm going to be right back.
Adam, you could have just left.
Adam, we're literally about to transition to your movie.
No, I know. I didn't want y'all to start. Hang on.
We're about to start.
Okay, so a simple favor is
Well, I got a whiz.
The plan is a Sam Raimi movie, and I keep wanting to say a simple plan every time.
I'll talk a little bit. Like I would talk to you about this, Sam. Is I really want to focus on. I really want to write something. It might not even be a video essay. I might freelance it somewhere. I want to write something about how The Last of Us Part 2 tackles this idea of the sins of your father, quote unquote, because we were talking about this. It's just like with Ellie, you have these things that transfer over to her character, these like negative aspects that transfer over to her character that were presented within Joel. Like there's this whole like not storyline, but she keeps bringing up the fact that like, oh yeah, Joel taught me how to interrogate people. You get somebody and you like tie him to a chair and get him to point somewhere. And it's like we saw that in the first game, but then with Ellie or with Abby, you see the positive aspects of her father kind of transfer over to her and how caring she is and like how quickly humanity can be brought back to her just with a simple like connection of like just this kind of pure love that is other people.
Shit. This is like a cool fact, but I think one thing that's really fun is Landon, do you remember how they did that like live reading of The Last of Us when Remastered came out?
I was talking to this with Sam and Brandon.
Yeah, but I think what's really cool is like when they did that, they cut the live stream out to like do like an additional scene after, and it's cool that that's like the opening scene where Joel sings Ellie in the game. Yeah, it's really cool that I didn't even realize that until like I was just thinking about that. I was like, oh shit. That's what they were talking about like 6 years ago.
That's crazy. All right, Adam, talk to us about.
All right, so this was my pick for the week, the movie A Simple Favor from 2018, starring Anna Kendrick, Blake Lively, and Henry Golding. We watched it on Saturday, so that was how we celebrated July 4th, I guess. And so I'm going to run down the plot very quickly, and then I want to hear what each of you guys thought.
Adam, why do you have to click 8 times?
Oh, sorry.
Adam, wait, are you scrolling down? Like, what are you doing?
No, I'm clicking back and forth.
He's closing all of his tabs that include the kissing scene.
Well, I can't accidentally share my screen. Okay, so basically the plot revolves around Anna Kendrick's character is a parent of an elementary schooler. She's kind of like a mommy vlogger, whatever the term is, I don't know. And she befriends the mom of another kid who is like in the high fashion business in New York, and they kind of develop this open friendship, and then Emily is Blake Lively's character, kind of disappears, and then it kind of leads down a whole rabbit hole. There's a lot of fun twists and turns. I saw it in theaters in 2018. I rewatched it last year, and this is my third watch of it. I enjoyed it just as much the third time around. And before we get into, I guess, the movie itself, I want to know what you guys thought of it.
I'm pro Simple Favor. I like it.
I'm pro Simple Favor as well.
It's very fun. It's not anything like amazing, but it's fun.
It's like I never like. I'm not gonna say I never had any complaints because that's false. But I never felt like, oh, this is a draw to watch. Like I was having fun throughout the entire.
Also, Blake Lively is super fucking up this movie.
She's really good. Yeah.
Anna Kendrick is also pretty good.
She is.
Also, the score kind of slaps through this movie.
It does.
It
really does.
They use a ton of French songs in that fucking movie.
Henry Golding's good too. This is only his second movie.
Is he good in this?
That's all that matters.
No, Adam, this is where I don't agree with you on this. I don't think the direction's that great in the movie. But everything, I think the script isn't half bad.
There's one scene in the beginning of the movie, because I watched this movie like 2 years ago, so I was rewatching it last night. I got like halfway through it, but then I passed out. But one problem I did notice, the first scene where you meet Blake Lively, the way like she talks to Kendrick is kind of fucking annoying. Like the dialogue is annoying. She comes in and she's like, "Oh well, I like alcohol. I love drinking. Dude, I'm a girl boss, like drink lover." Like it's so weird.
Yeah.
Also, to kind of like, so I think the movie's fine. I think the movie is really good and really interesting when it's about the mystery, when it's about the crime. Sort of like being a lighthearted Gone Girl, like that's when the movie's really good. It's really bad when it's trying to be a comedy, when it's trying to be a normal Paul Feig movie. Feig is a really bad director. I stand by that. One of the things that annoyed me so fucking much in the movie was her shitty YouTube videos. Okay? Because her fucking videos are bad, first of all. Like the fact that like the movie begins with her being like, well, here's my YouTube video. We're going to talk about it. And, well, if you don't know what's going on in the story, let's catch you up. So she has a fucking 40-minute YouTube video out there that recaps the entire story. Like, it's okay, but also, I don't know why this decision was made, but rather than giving her the knowledge to edit a video, like it's a live stream that isn't like, and she has like a button that like cuts to different cameras, rather than just being a video that she like edited together. It's so fucking weird. It's such weird choices. The fake YouTube looks awful. Like the fake YouTube looks like the iCarly fake YouTube. Like it's terrible. Like I can't believe she's a fucking vlogger. Like I cannot believe it.
So I was looking at my notes that I wrote about this, and for some reason, I wrote a very large, all capital notes that says 20 minutes in, she makes a drink with gin. Gin sucks ass.
You know what's even better about that scene, David? That gin is Ryan Reynolds' own, the aviation gin.
Yeah.
God damn it. Gin does suck ass, dude. I love that fucking scene in It's Always Sunny where they go to a gin bar and Dennis is like, God damn it, gin sucks ass. You bitch, why would you bring us here?
Oh my god. Yeah. There's not really much that like I can like defend about this movie except say I had a good time.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, now that we're talking about it, I'm like, maybe I don't like this movie as much as I thought I did.
We talked about this on Friday, but I don't think I laughed once.
Yeah.
I might have let out like a.
I might agree.
I think, God damn it. All I can think about it right now, even though I like this movie, is things that fucking annoyed me. There isn't like one thing in this movie that I think like a major thing that's bad. It's just that there's like a bunch of little things that are annoying. Like the fucking like peanut gallery, like fucking
Oh my god.
My parents are so fucking annoying.
God. That was like that. Like I can imagine Paul Feig like being there, like
oh my god, you know Paul Feig was like writing or was Paul Feig was directing this scene to be like, dude, this is fucking hilarious.
Real quick before I talk about a couple other things, Brandon, I know it's you saw it in theaters too. I think I know you're in the same boat with Sam in that it's fine, but I want to know what you think of it.
I think this movie is like the definition of a mid, honestly. Like, I can't think of anything that I hated in this movie, but I can't think of anything that I definitely can't think of anything that I loved in it. I think Blake Lively gives like her best performance in the film by far. Yeah. Like, I think that she's so good in it. But like, I do agree with David. Like, the beginning's pretty goofy, where she's like, "All right, get in my car. We're gonna go. Hey, shitheads, get in my car. Hey, you pieces of shit. We're drinking. Get in. We're
fucking
drinking.
Goddamn motherfuckers, get in my fucking car."
The fucking shit. I wish I got a fucking abortion.
I absolutely fucking hate you, my son. You fucking hate every second being around.
Oh, I love my son.
You stupid piece of shit. Get in the
and then like an hour later, she's like, "I had to kill my sister so I could spend more time with this."
Like, fuck you. You're just a fucking serial killer, you bitch. Like, I fuck you.
She's somebody that killed 3 people and killed 2 people, had attempted murder, and only got 2 years in prison.
Also,
okay, that's something I really do like
that's the definition. It's the definition of white privilege, honestly. Like, this film, like, if she can, or also the fact that she's not in like, what's it, solitary confinement?
Yeah, right.
I just thought that's one thing I really do like about this movie.
Also, doesn't Blake Lively do like a Euro step too?
Yeah,
she's like Euro steps when she's playing basketball. I'm like, whoa, this is something I've never seen in my entire life.
One thing I genuinely do like about this movie though is at the end when like Anna Kendrick like fake kills Henry Golding. I like the fact that like Blake Lively immediately is like, no fucking way, I'm falling for that shit. Like, so immediately it's like, are you kidding me?
Also, like, I like when I talked about it a little bit on Saturday, but like when she gets hit by the car, it's so fucking goofy.
Oh my god, I fucking forgot about that.
It reminds me of like Mean Girls.
Like, and also I agree with you 100%, David, about the peanut gallery and this, like, and the fact that he's like he's the one who like hits her with the car.
He's like, Prius, bitch.
I completely forgot about that shit.
He's like, Prius, bitch. I'm like, okay.
Like, all right.
I don't hate that. I will say I don't hate that. I will say I watched a bunch of the behind the scenes stuff on Vudu after we watched it, and it wasn't. I know it wasn't supposed to be like an out and out comedy. I'll defend by saying that, and but I don't know. There's like random things with it that have like that stuck with me. Like I remember when I rewatched it last year, like I don't know, for whatever reason, there's that part where Anna Kendrick goes back into the house, like I don't know, maybe hour 15 in, and she took all of Blake Lively's stuff out of the house, and she comes back and it's all back, and I don't know why, but that stuck with me.
Okay, Adam.
Yeah.
2 things. One, I don't believe you've only seen this movie 3 times. I don't.
Oh no,
believe
it's only 3 times. I swear.
and
Why do you have
God.
why do you have the time memorized?
Exactly.
Like,
That was a guess.
hey Adam, what time does Anna Kendrick change into Blake Lively's clothes and that's
Dude, Adam's just
what time was that, Adam?
Adam's been watching this movie every night for like 2 years. He heard us make fun of it, and now he's like, I'm fucking kill all of you.
Also, like, when I was reading the reviews for this film, like, when it first came out, everyone was like, oh, this is such a sexy thriller, a sexy, funny thriller. This film is, like, the least sexy thing I've seen since, like, Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Like, it's so, like, there's such an absence of anything sexy in it. And whenever they try to be sexy, it's always, like, the middle schooler's idea of a sexy thriller, a sexy movie. Like,
It's like, oh, let's play some like kind of chill pop music.
yeah, what we...
One thing I like about it, too, they have a nice Lace It Tombele feel needle drop in that movie.
Right, yeah. The chick have it and the dude named chick have it. That's all you need.
Yeah.
But overall, I will say it's such a fucking fun movie, and I just have a lot.
Brandon, you told me that Adam's background right now isn't sexy.
Wait, Adam, can you talk? It looks like it's like a Bond girl spinoff where like the Bond girls, like who've been sexually harassed by James Bond.
Oh God!
Trying to kill James Bond.
All right, we'll change it back. I'll change it back. All right, but it's such a fucking fun movie. Like, just it's 2 hours. It doesn't really feel 2 hours, and it's. I will say
this movie looks like an episode of 2.5 Men. It's shot like an episode of
Right, it looks like a fucking TV show.
Hey, it looks fine to me. So
yeah, it looks fine to me too. I think you guys are being a little too mean.
I should watch it on the fucking Hallmark channel. Like
when
it's not fucking Deacons that shoot it, but it doesn't look that bad.
They were talking when in the
you have to be the world's greatest cinematography to add some fucking weight to a scene. Like everything has the most boring lighting. Like it literally looks like they just set up 2 lights behind the camera and we're like, okay, good. Fuck it.
I will. In its defense, when I was watching the behind the scenes, they said during production, they're not.
Watch the behind the scenes to assemble.
Okay,
You guys are being so mean to Adam.
Yes, thank you, Sam. They said they weren't going to hide anything. Like they weren't going to put anything on the back burner. They were going to just put it all out there and let the audience like figure it out. They weren't trying to hide anything. They weren't trying to shoot it. You know.
What the fuck does that mean? What?
How does that make it better, Adam?
You guys are being so
make
mean.
a boring movie. So that people wouldn't be lost. Like what? The fuck does that mean?
Okay.
Paul Feig in the behind the scenes was like, I'm putting everything on the table for this movie.
They're not gonna hide anything. Like just on like a whiteboard in the back, it just says she killed her twin.
What you're telling me is that like Paul Feig watches like Diabolique or like watches like Rafiki or some fucking other noir movie. He watches like Casablanca.
Well, he's like, watching like Double Indemnity.
Shadows, like he doesn't know what's going on. Like I feel like they're hiding something from me. I don't like it.
Okay. And
during the YouTube video, there's a comment under the video that says it's the entire plot. It's like a Wikipedia synopsis of the entire plot.
Okay, my biggest gripe actually came from something that wasn't even in the movie. When like in the featurettes and stuff. You guys know what the original ending was?
No.
The original ending is the dumbest thing. I think my internet disconnected. Hang on. Okay. Is the dumbest thing where they were originally going to do like they're at the school, and then the dad that drove the Prius goes up to Anna Kendrick and says, "Hey, there's a dead body on the playground." And then they run outside, and it's Henry Golding. And then it turns out it's a big dance number that he organized with all the parents and characters and shit. And then
What's
they
with
have
Paul Feig fucking dance numbers?
I know, dude.
no, I know.
Dude.
And it's like this big dance number thing, and at the end he proposes to Anna Kendrick.
Wait. So is this like, is he actually not dead? It's just like they're just like.
Yeah, and then he gets up and they do this big dance thing, and then he proposes to Anna Kendrick, and that didn't make it into the movie, and they were all talking about how disappointed they were, and I'm like, that's a good thing. That's a garbage ending.
I
Probably
feel like
fucking like week on it. They put so much time into it. They got the choreography down, and then
Yeah.
they watch it and they're like, "Man, this is bad. This is shit." Like,
Yeah.
I feel like every time Paul Feig directs a movie, there needs to be like at least 2 people on set at all times that just tell him no.
yeah.
Because any Paul Feig movie that's enjoyable is like enjoyable in spite of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel like Paul Feig is a really good second unit director.
Yeah.
When you get to like film the pickup shots and like the scenic shots of the city, and then you get like someone else with like competency and like style and like creativity to direct your movie. Like he can film the dialogue scenes and like that's it maybe.
I mean, yeah, like in Spy, it's Melissa McCarthy and Jason Statham that make working Ghostbusters. It's what, Kate McKinnon and we were talking about this the other day. Who's the other person that makes that movie work?
Leslie Jones.
Yeah.
Nobody makes Ghostbusters work. Let's be honest.
It's like a third of that movie that's good, and then whenever it tries to be a Ghostbusters movie, it's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I vividly remember like this was at the end of a weekend where I was at Richmond Raceway Friday and Saturday, like until like 2 a.m. both nights. And then I was like on Sunday, I was like, I'm bored. I'm just going to go see this. And it turned out I loved it. I think Anna Kendrick and Blake Lively are both pretty great. It has enough twists and turns to keep me interested. It's a lot of fun. That's why I recommended it. I'm glad Landon enjoyed it.
Okay, yeah, I enjoyed it, but you're not getting off scot-free, Adam. I don't want anybody to talk. I want Adam to fully describe why you think the kiss in A Simple Favor is better than the kiss in Disobedience.
You guys were kidding.
If we're being completely fair here, we had that discussion before, like I really knew what Disobedience was about. So that's not really valid, but okay.
What?
No, it doesn't matter what the movie's fucking about, Adam.
I mean, it kind of matters in
Yeah, I
this
guess, but like I'm just talking about the like sensual nature of it and how like meaningful it is. And then you have this dry ass fucking kiss where
I think my point was that I was like overall like I'm more attracted to Blake Lively.
The truth comes out.
Adam, I don't want to. Okay, Adam, I don't want to like. I don't want to shit on your taste in women, right? I don't want to do that. But how can you think either of these women are more attractive than Rachel Weisz and Rachel McAdams? Like I can't.
Well, see, by doing that, you are so.
But who is more attractive than Rachel Weisz? Not a lot of people.
I'll tell you who's more attractive than Rachel Weisz. Not the freaking Cheeto we have in the White House right
oh my god. But yeah, I'm glad you recommended it, Adam. I enjoyed it.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Just realize when you say that the kiss scene in A Simple Favor is better than the kiss scene in Disobedience, you are being outright homophobic and get canceled for that shit. So
Well, I didn't try to be that way, so my apologies.
And I will say, Adam, even though I'm not crazy about the film, I don't regret watching it, right? There's
There you
still
go.
things worth seeing in it. It's still a fun movie. It's just like I'm very happy that you love it. I'm very happy for you. I just don't get it, but I'm very happy that it's your thing, and I really appreciate that and admire that.
Sam,
I
how
just
do you
wish.
not get it? How do you
I
not
just
get it?
wish
They put
the
everything on the
movie
table.
had. I wish the movie had more commentary on Donald Trump.
But hey, it's just like any other movie. Like I don't know, like the Muppets. Like I wasn't as crazy about that, but Brandon, you love it. Good for you.
Right, and
You know,
that Brandon loves that
there are
movie.
some characters. There's some characters in the Muppets
Yeah.
that
I
are
mean,
orange, like the
Miss Piggy
Cheeto we
had
have in
a
white.
better.
But yeah, I really enjoy it.
I think I'd rather watch a kiss scene between Miss Piggy and Kermit the Frog than Anna Kendrick and Blake Lively. That's just my taste.
All right.
I'd give it 3 stars and a like on Letterboxd.
I gave
Yeah, I
it
think
5
that's
stars
how
out of
it
like
is.
You gave it 5 stars?
because I
Adam,
enjoy it.
You gave it 5
Dude,
stars.
you guys, Adam's the number 1 fucking Simple Favors fan, dude. As we've noted, he's watched it 83 times. He's like me with The Last of Us, you know? He just knows where everything is.
Sam, you gave it 3 stars and a like, correct?
I did, yeah.
And Brandon, what did you give it?
I should have given it 3 stars. I don't know. It's probably 3.5.
I think I have 3 stars in the like.
Hold on, wait.
But since my pick of the week's discussion is up, I'll throw it over to Landon to my left. I don't know if it's the same way on your screen, but
Here we go.
what's your pick for the week, Landon?
My pick for the week is fuck.
Okay.
My pick of the week is Where the Wild Things Are, directed by Spike Jonze, and it's the best Spike Jonze movie, and I'm excited for you guys to watch it. I'm not going to say too much because I think there's a lot in this movie, but it's really good. I love it. It's one of my top 10 movies of all time, favorite movies of all time.
Damn.
Tune in next week where we'll talk about Spike Jonze's Where the Wild Things Are. Brandon, take us out.
All right. Hold on, wait.
How many matches have you wasted tonight?
Shit, it broke. Damn. All right.
Wait, Brandon, wait.
Brandon, have you ever used a match? Oh, there we go.
All right. Shit, it went out.
Brandon's gonna fucking like set his smoke alarm off.
Let me show you how to do it, okay? Because I used to do that.
I got
There
it.
you go.
All right. Thank you for joining us on this week's episode of Cinemania. We've enjoyed having you. We want you to have a great week and every shit. It's going out again. Okay. So I'm your I'm host, Brandon Schelling, for my co-hosts are
Donald Trump.
The
A simple
Cheeto in the
favor
White
cheek.
House.
A simple favor cheek.
The kiss scene from Disobedience, Goodrich.
and Adam Sandler as Joel in The Last of Us.
And not only Adam Sandler as Joel, Adam Sandler playing Howard Ratner as Joel.
Please,
All right.
I want to see that so badly now.
I would too. All right. So have a great week, everyone. Stay safe. Watch the movies. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Au revoir.
Hola.
Stop the recording.